Scientific Cultivation of Immortality, beginning with a wish. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Chen Mo, God Level Wish. 2096, Blue Star. Jiangcheng No. 3 High School, Class 2. Name, Chen Mo Chinese. 85, Knowledge of Kung Fu, Basics of Immortal Cultivation, etc. Full marks 150, Mathematics. 60, Mathematical Theory, Array Calculation, etc. Full marks 150, Science. 72, Principles, Development, and Application of Mecha, full marks 150, 6 Arts. 158, Basics of 6 Arts of Immortal Cultivation, Miscellaneous Studies, full marks 300, Cold Weapon Elective. 50, First Order Hurricane Sword Skill Minor Success, full marks 100, Bonus Points, Spiritual Roots. 0 points, Spiritual Roots Bonus, full marks 500, Cultivation Realm. 75, Bone Forging Realm, full marks 100, total score. 500 points class ranking, 3rd from the bottom. Sitting in the last row of the classroom, a handsome boy stared at the mock exam results in his hand and frowned. He scored 500 points out of a total of 1,450 points, a complete scumbag. Alice. Chen Mo sighed. It is the 2nd semester of the 2nd year of high school. The next year will be the college entrance examination. Refer to the college entrance examination scoreline of Jiangcheng University last year. It is far from the 550 scoreline of the general department, not to mention the minimum threshold of 810 points for the cultivation department. If this continues, let alone being admitted to the cultivation department, he can't even pass the ordinary undergraduate entrance examination, and I'm afraid he can't even get into those better federal public vocational schools. Is he really going to fall to the point of studying in a 2nd or 3rd-rate vocational school, choosing a skill that can make a living, and becoming a low-level social animal? What's the point of crossing? Chen Mo couldn't help but complain in his heart. Since August 15, 2056, Rabbit successfully opened a passage to another world on the back of the moon. The aura of the other world was sucked into the blue planet through the gravity of the blue planet, and at the same time activated the exhausted spiritual veins left by the ancient blue planet. As a result, humans deciphered the ancient relics, and the immortal way began to revive, and the blue planet entered the scientific cultivation era. In 2076, the blue planet entered the interstellar era of the Human Federation, and the civilization was highly developed. With the advanced development of science and technology combined with immortal cultivation materials, interstellar spacecraft can already travel to some worlds near the Milky Way, and can enter other alien worlds through wormhole jumping technology through the Universe Channel. In 2079, with the help of the Central Array Spirit Hongmeng computer, 108 Dao condensation body art was born. No matter what your qualifications are, whether you have immortal cultivation roots or not, as long as you practice 108 Dao condensation body art to perfection before the age of 20, you can give birth to immortal bones, and the Federation will enter the era of universal immortal cultivation. Nowadays, although the Blue Star world has become a starry sky civilization, the immortal cultivation class has also solidified. The federal college entrance examination has become the fairest in the world, and it is also the only channel for ordinary people to achieve class crossing. As long as you are admitted to the cultivation department of the Federal University, you can obtain a series of cultivation resources provided by the federal education, consolidate the foundation of cultivation, and become an immortal cultivator. No matter how bad you are, you must be admitted to the general department of the university, learn runes, mechas, formations, alchemy and other knowledge of the 6 arts of cultivation, provide basic services for immortal cultivators, and fight for that ray of opportunity. Most of the vocational schools in the Federation only teach students some ordinary mortal skills, and at most they can earn 3 meals a day. In the federal college entrance examination, unless you are a genius with a single spiritual root, 810 points is the life and death line of the examinee. Chen Mo stared at the results in his hand silently, and couldn't help but fall into deep thought. 3 days ago, many dusty memories suddenly emerged in his mind. In his previous life, he was also called Chen Mo. He was born as a cow and horse. He lived for nearly 30 years and still achieved nothing. Every day, he ate, slept, went to work, and went to work. There was no wife, and his life was dull and boring. On January 1st, 2024, New Year's Day, he came to Lushan ancient temple alone to burn incense and worship Buddha, hoping to ask the Buddha to give him a wife this year. As a result, when he touched the green lamp in front of the Buddha statue, he instantly lost consciousness and woke up. It was already 2096, and he became the current Chen Mo. He didn't know that this was considered a time travel, but an awakening of the memory of the previous life. The body in this life is still ordinary and ordinary. He has no superior intelligence, no spiritual roots for cultivating immortals, his grades are at the bottom, his parents work on the assembly line, and he has a younger sister who is a few years younger than him. What the fuck? Chen Mo held the report card in his hand and shook his head vigorously, trying to get rid of the chaotic thoughts in his mind. With only one last hope left, Chen Mo began to visualize the somewhat clumsy green lamp shadow in his mind again. This was the 1000th time he had checked it. This green lamp should be the golden finger that appeared when he awakened his memory. Unfortunately, he still doesn't know how to open it. Recite scriptures, burn incense, swear, plead, kowtow, burn paper, curse. Chen Mo even tried to immerse his brain in water to drown himself, and he was just short of having water in his brain. In the end, no matter how he tried, there was still no movement. This guy just stayed in his mind and didn't move, otherwise he wouldn't be so melancholy. Damn it, you should make some changes. Chen Mo said indignantly in his heart to the green lamp shadow in his mind. PFFT. It's like a dead pig on a rolling knife. Golden finger? At this time, Su Chang, the head teacher standing on the podium in the classroom, was talking about the situation of this mock exam. Chen Mo, how many points did you get this time? Wu Yuang, who was sitting next to Chen Mo, poked Chen Mo with his hand. Chen Mo turned his head and glanced at the boy next to him, who looked a little thin and quiet. This was his only good brother in the class, a tyrant who vowed to rely on his academic performance to get into the cultivation department, but his cultivation aptitude was terrible. Chen Mo thought for a while and whispered, the academic score was 375, the realm was 75 points, and the cold weapon elective was 50. Wu Yuang, with a slightly raised corner of his mouth, smiled. 500 points, not bad, more than 20 points more than the last place. Chen Mo, your realm has reached a bone refining realm, and you got 75 points. It is impossible to break through in the short term, and it is not easy to achieve great success in the wind sword technique. In the remaining year, why don't you focus on your academic performance? I will help you if you don't understand. In this way, you may still have a glimmer of hope to be admitted to the Taoist department, or at worst, you may have a chance to study in an ordinary department. After listening to Wu Yuang's kind analysis, Chen Mo shrugged his shoulders and did not comment. What about you? Wu Yuang glanced at Chen Mo, raised his chin and looked forward, and said with a little pride, academic performance of 675 points, realm 25 points, hot weapon elective 50 points, total score 750 points. Chen Mo nodded and said lightly, congratulations, you have 675 points in the cultural level. If you focus on the cultivation realm and break through to the flesh refining realm, or even the bone refining realm, you will have a chance to be admitted to the cultivation department of Jiangcheng University. Chen Mo's voice was filled with a hint of joy for his friend's progress. In the high school entrance examination, there are two types of weapons electives, cold weapons and hot weapons, with a total score of 100, and entry, minor success, major success, and perfection, each accounting for 25 points. The cultivation realm also has a total score of 100, and skin refining, flesh refining, bone refining, and internal energy each account for 25 points. If the 108 Dao condensing body art breaks through from internal energy to innate perfection, you can give birth to immortal bones, which is equivalent to the spiritual root qualification of cultivating immortals. In the college entrance examination, you can also obtain spiritual root plus components according to the grade of immortal bones. Anyone who obtains spiritual root plus components generally has a much easier time to be admitted to the cultivation department. Unfortunately, there are only a few geniuses with immortal spiritual roots after all. The birth of 108 Dao condensing body art gave ordinary people a chance. Most people rely on practicing this technique to give birth to immortal bones and continue their immortal path. Even many people with 4 or 3 spiritual roots would practice this technique, hoping to produce immortal bones with better spiritual root qualifications. This is also the reason why Chen Mo is so determined to achieve a higher level of cultivation. As long as he cultivates to the level of innate perfection and produces immortal bones, he can almost get the 400 to 500 points added by the spiritual roots, and it is a foregone conclusion that he will be admitted to the Taoist department. But it is not so easy to complete the 108 Dao concentrated body art. Wu Yuang, because he does not like cultivation and has poor cultivation qualifications, chose to take the opposite route, hoping to be admitted to the Taoist department with the help of his academic performance, and then use the university's cultivation resources to feed back to the cultivation realm, break through to the level of innate perfection and produce immortal bones. But human energy and time are limited after all, and the choice is up to the individual. What is right and what is wrong is based on the college entrance examination results as the only criterion. Wu Yuang, a study maniac, is willing to spend time to help Chen Mo improve his academic performance during the 10th period of the 3rd year of high school. This behavior touched Chen Mo's heart. Just as the head teacher continued to talk about the simulation results of this exam, Chen Mo stared at the monitor Song Yan, who was sitting in the first row of the classroom with some envy. This girl not only had fair skin and extremely beautiful appearance, but also possessed the superior qualifications of cultivating Taoism with dual spiritual roots of water and wood. It was also said that she was practicing the 108 body tempering techniques and was expected to give birth to a first-grade immortal bone. Chen Mo couldn't help but envy and said in his heart, "It's really the same person with different fates. It would be great if I could also give birth to a first-grade immortal bone, but unfortunately I don't know how to realize this wish." Just as this idea flashed through Chen Mo's mind, the shadow of the green lamp in Chen Mo's mind suddenly shook, and then some words appeared in his consciousness, and a stream of information flooded into his mind. Make a wish, how to cultivate a first-grade immortal bone. Path 1, in 5 days. Jian Chang Wanbao Pavilion will sell a first-level ancient martial arts technique Ice Palm. After purchasing the technique, you can find the hidden divine intention and visualize the entry point, and practice 108 body tempering techniques to give birth to a first-grade immortal bone. Path 2, go to the Barad Sword Valley on Mars, polish the sword for 18 years to get a first-grade immortal bone. Looking at the words flashing in his mind, Chen Mo couldn't help but excitedly said in his heart, "My God, the golden finger is finally here." New author and new book, please support it. Chapter 2, Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste. It turns out that it wasn't that the golden finger was cool, but that he hadn't found the correct way to open the golden finger. The correct way to unlock the golden finger was to make a wish. As long as he made a wish, the golden finger would analyze the wish based on the information of the world he was in, and tell him several ways to fulfill the wish. This ability was extremely amazing. In theory, no matter what wish he made, the golden finger would be able to give him a feasible method. It was simply a god-level wish. Chen Mo looked at the flashing words in his mind excitedly, and no one noticed this scene. Looking at the 2 ways to fulfill his wish in his mind, he was excited. "I didn't expect that there is really a way to cultivate a first-grade immortal bone, and there are 2 ways. Way 1, 5 days later, Jian Chang Wanbao Pavilion will have a first-grade ancient martial arts technique Ice Palm for sale. Buy the technique to find the hidden divine intention visualization entry, and cultivate 108 body tempering techniques to give birth to a first-grade immortal bone. Way 2, go to the Barad Sword Valley on Mars, polish the sword for 18 years to get a first-grade immortal bone." However, he took a look at the second way and ruled it out. Mars is a first-level resource planet of Blue Star. He has never heard of the Barad Sword Valley. It is definitely unrealistic to go there with his current strength and status. Way 1 has specific methods and steps, and it is in Jiangcheng, which is completely achievable for him. Chen Mo. When Chen Mo was excitedly immersed in the idea of cultivating a first-grade immortal bone, the head teacher Su Cheng was almost unable to suppress his anger and shouted. He had called Chen Mo's name several times in a row, and this guy was still daydreaming. It's not enough that he got the worst score in this exam, but what's even more annoying is that he was startled in class and affected other students. He must be taught a lesson. It's really unbearable. At this time, Wu Yuang, who was standing next to him, hurriedly pulled Chen Mo several times with his hands. "Don't be in a daze, the head teacher is calling you." Chen Mo came back to his senses and stood up quickly. "Ah, teacher, you called me." Su Cheng glared at Chen Mo angrily. Chen Mo, in the 21st century, in which year was the greatest martial arts invention of mankind, 108 condensation techniques, born. Su Cheng stared at Chen Mo angrily, with a hint of anger in his voice. Chen Mo quickly searched his memory in his mind. This knowledge point was specially introduced in the history of the Zhuoxin era in the Chinese language of the first year of high school, and it was also a basic free-scoring question that must be tested in the college entrance examination. Teacher, it was 2079. Chen Mo replied confidently. Unexpectedly, after hearing Chen Mo's answer, Su Cheng's expression became even angrier, and he gritted his teeth. 2079. Knowing it was 2079, why did you write 2076 in the questionnaire this time? Did a ghost hold your hand while you wrote it? Ah. Chen Mo looked at the head teacher angrily, thinking, would I really make such a low-level mistake? Don't believe it. If you don't believe it, take out your test paper and take a good look. Listening to the teacher's roar, Chen Mo smiled awkwardly and lowered his head to take out the test paper from the day before yesterday. Fill in the blanks. In the 21st century, the greatest martial arts invention of mankind, 108 concentrated body art, was born with the help of the central array spirit Hongmeng computer. In which year was it born? 2076. This must be the fault of the memory fusion after the time travel. PFFT. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Seeing Chen Mo's red face and his head down staring at his test paper, the classmates in the class burst into laughter. Student Chen Mo, you can get this easy question that even a 6-year-old child can answer wrong. You don't listen carefully in class and you are careless during the test. Do you still want to take the college entrance examination? Can you pay more attention? Listen to the class honestly and sit down. After a round of criticism from the head teacher, Chen Mo pretended to know his mistake and sat down angrily. In fact, he was not upset at all in his heart, and was still in the excitement of the golden finger. After seeing Chen Mo sit down obediently, Su Cheng's sharp eyes slowed down a little, and turned to persuade everyone. I hope that the students will take this as a warning. During the exam, you must check carefully and don't lose points that should not be lost. In addition, the second semester of high school is about to end, and the next third year of high school will mainly focus on review and breakthroughs. Students should make plans based on their own grades and college entrance examination goals to see where they can improve their scores. Those with similar academic scores should focus on breakthroughs in martial arts. Some people who don't have much hope in martial arts next year should focus on improving their academic scores. We can't do the thing of picking up sesame seeds and losing watermelons. Some students with poor foundations have limited time and energy, so don't be greedy to do both, otherwise you will end up with nothing. If you can't afford to be admitted to the cultivation department, you should at least be admitted to an ordinary undergraduate program. Okay. Okay, the classmates answered in unison. Seeing the classmates' loud response, Su Cheng's face showed a few more smiles. Then he said happily, next, announce the scores and rewards of the top 3 in our class. Hearing this, everyone immediately perked up and waited enviously for the announcement of the top 3 lists. Third place, Liu Hai scored 1,123 points and is rewarded with a bottle of Tiger Demon Bone forging paste. Second place, Li Wu scored 1,209 points and is awarded 1 bottle of Tiger Demon Bone refining paste. First place, Song Yihan scored 1,312 points, ranked in the top 5 in age, and is awarded 2 bottles of Tiger Demon Bone refining paste. Wow! Wow! Tiger Demon Bone refining paste. A bottle can be sold for 5,000 spirit coins in the market. Even if you don't need it, you can easily sell it in the market. I'm so envious. If I can get a bottle of Tiger Demon Bone refining paste, I can at least refine the remaining 36 bones in my body. For a moment, all kinds of discussions were heard in the classroom. Chen Mo's eyes were burning as he watched several people receive the Tiger Demon Bone tempering paste as a reward from the head teacher. Tiger Demon Bone tempering paste is a top-quality external plaster for tempering bones and muscles. The raw materials are 20 years old, and the tiger bones of top-grade adult male tigers and more than a dozen precious blood and key medicinal materials are boiled and refined. It costs 5,000 yuan of spirit coins to buy it on the Star Network. When practicing 108 body tempering techniques to reach the bone tempering realm, you can use the Tiger Demon Bone tempering paste to wipe the bone joints of the body to cooperate with the practice, which can play a magical effect of accelerating bone refining. Chen Mo estimated that if he used this secret medicine now, he could break through to the bone tempering perfection realm in a short period of time, and even have a great hope of breaking through to the internal key realm, saving him 1 or 2 months of hard work. But getting this reward is simply a dream for his current grades. At most, he needs to get a test score of more than 1,100 points, and be in the top 3 in the class. Tiger Demon Bone Tempering Paste. Chen Mo quickly put away his envious look, and a hint of excitement flashed in his eyes. Although he couldn't get the reward this time, I have a golden finger. Golden finger, help me make another wish. A flash of inspiration came to Chen Mo's mind, and he made a decision instantly. Maybe he can set restrictions in the wish, so that it will be easier to fulfill the wish. Make a wish. I want to get a copy of Tiger Demon Bone Tempering Paste tonight in a safe situation. This world's information is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. The handwriting emerged in the consciousness, and as the words flashed, streams of information instantly rushed into Chen Mo's mind. Wish analysis, way 1, before 6 p.m. today, spend 5,000 spirit coins to order 1 copy of Tiger Demon Bone Tempering Paste on Star Network, choose Finio Express, and it can be delivered before 9 p.m. Route 2, rush to number 76 Linjiang Street at 8:15 tonight, and under the camphor tree on the east side of Dengson Square, you will pick up a black package and get a Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste. You are not allowed to stay after picking up the package, and must leave the place immediately before 8:17. Chen Mo's eyes lit up when he saw the second message. Fuck. It actually works. Chen Mo excitedly checked the time on his phone. It was 5:51 p.m., more than 2 hours before 8:15 p.m. Thinking that he could pick up a Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste for free, Chen Mo was so excited that he almost jumped up. Chapter 3 Surprise, pick 1 get 1 free. Okay, students, be quiet. Su Cheng hurriedly stopped the discussion in the classroom as it became more and more lively. Song Yuhan, Li Wu, and Liu Hai did well in the exam this time. I hope you will continue to work hard and strive to get into the top 10 universities in the Federation. Su Cheng paused and turned his gaze to other envious classmates in the class, encouraging them. It's the same for other students. There's still 1 year to work hard, and everything is possible. In addition, for this final exam, I will personally reward the student who has made the most progress in our class with a copy of Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste. Martial arts are about competition, and I hope everyone will continue to work hard. Hearing this, the classroom was instantly boiling. This is a reward for the student who has made the most progress, not just the top 3. Everyone has a chance. Hearing this, Chen Mo's eyes could not help but be eager. Most improved. This time I can also take your place. Although he already knew that he would get a copy of Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste tonight, who would have too many good things? Okay, today's class ends here. At this time, the school bell rang. All the students immediately dispersed and ran out like crazy. Some students even opened the window next to them, jumped out, and rushed directly to the school library practice room. In order to occupy the library practice room first to practice. The library here is not the single function of reading books in the previous life. Whether it is a school or the outside world, each library is built on the spiritual vein, with various practice and query facilities, various formations, and connected to the central Hongming formation spirit computer. However, in the practice room in the library, students have a practice time limit. If they exceed the time, they have to rely on their personal library points, or spend federal spirit coins to buy practice time, and they have to be ranked behind the free practice time. Today, Chen Mo did not compete with everyone for the practice room, but immediately put away the test paper on the table and ran home. He couldn't wait to go home and prepare to go to Dengson Square to pick up the Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste. Back home, Chen Mo found that Chen Yuan, who had a little baby fat on his face, was sitting in the living room watching anime. Brother, you're back. Chen Yuan stared at the TV screen and greeted him without turning his head. Well, watch less TV and review your lessons when you have time. Chen Mo responded with concern. I know, brother, you're busy. Chen Yuan responded casually, still staring at the TV with relish. Chen Mo was in no mood to argue with his sister at this time. He hurried to his room to check his own practice and prepare for the Tiger Demon Bone Tempering Paste that he would get in the evening. 108 Body Tempering Secrets has 5 levels: Skin Refining, Flesh Refining, Bone Refining, Internal Ki, and Innate. Start from refining the skin to train a trace of Ki and blood, and gradually strengthen the Ki and blood in the body through practice, and temper the skin, flesh, tendons and bones. The skin is tough and invulnerable, the flesh is crystal clear and powerful, and the tendons are like dragon bones and diamonds. These are the signs of the perfection of the first three realms. Now, Chen Mo has broken through to the middle stage of bone forging. The 126 limb bones in his body are almost tempered, and the remaining 29 skull bones and 51 trunk bones have not yet been tempered. Under normal circumstances, it would take Chen Mo at least 2 months to perfect his bone forging. If he had one portion of Tiger Demon bone forging paste, it would save him more than a month of training time. Time soon came to 8 o'clock in the evening. Chen Mo said hello to Chen Yuan and quietly went out. The moonlight in the Dengxin Square tonight is very bright. The square is surrounded by high-rise buildings and neon lights full of sci-fi art. The Blue Star City in 2096 is completely different from the Blue Star in 2024. The buildings here are full of sci-fi and artistic sense, and have more artistic design than the future sci-fi blockbusters that Chen Mo had seen in movies before. The streets are crowded with people. At 8:14, Chen Mo came to the camphor tree on the east side of Dengxin Square and waited quietly according to the system prompts. At this time, everything on the street was normal. Tick, tick, time turned 8:15 came, and Chen Mo glanced at the time on his mobile phone. At this moment, there was a sudden chaos in front of the square, as if something had happened. The crowded flow of people was pushed and shoved in chaos. Chen Mo looked up and saw a black figure with an oppressive aura, rushing towards him quickly. Key training period. Not far behind, a group of people with strong strength were desperately chasing. Just as the black figure passed in front of Chen Mo, the person quickly threw the smallest black package in his hand into the trash can 1 meter in front of Chen Mo, and continued to run forward without looking back. The package at the edge of the trash can and rolled down at Chen Mo's feet. Is this guy trying to divert attention? Chen Mo looked at the black package that rolled to his feet, and his heart was excited and uneasy. His Adam's apple couldn't help but slide. Is it this? It's a black package, it can't be wrong. Chen Mo looked at both sides and saw that no one was paying attention. He quickly bent down to pick up the package and put it in his pocket, and squeezed towards the crowd in front. Fuck. Why do I feel like a thief? It's like stealing fruits from the neighbor's yard when I was a child. So nervous and excited. The black package, it shouldn't be the right one. Is this man a thief? The group of people chasing behind him shouldn't have seen it. Will there be any follow-up? Thinking about the strength of this group of people, Chen Mo squeezed into the crowd and walked quickly, feeling excited and uneasy. He confirmed again in his mind that from bending down to pick up the package to leaving, it should not exceed 30 seconds. It is within the safe time range, and it should be fine. It's really fucking exciting. I haven't felt this way in years. 2 minutes later, Chen Mo hailed a taxi to go home. He sat on the taxi and sighed. He resisted the urge to open the black package. At 9:20, Chen Mo returned home, locked the door, and took out the black package from his pocket. It was an exquisite leather bag with a black ordinary bag on the outside. Chen Mo carefully opened the bag. Tiger Demon Bone Forging Cream. It's really Tiger Demon Bone Forging Cream. Haha, Goldfinger Dad really doesn't lie to me. After taking out the small bottle of Tiger Demon Bone Forging Cream, Chen Mo found a small piece of green stone in the bag. What is this? Haven't seen it in the textbook. Pick one and get one free. The stone is dark green, 3 fingers wide, 4 inches long, and irregular. Chen Mo took the stone in his hand and weighed it. It was quite heavy. I don't know. I'll find out if I upload it to the library. Soon, Chen Mo took a few pictures of the green stone and uploaded them to the Federal Network Library, and clicked to search. I found a treasure. Green Gang Motherstone, new book uploaded. Please read it, please collect and recommend it. If I don't read it, it will be a waste. Thanks to all the big guys. Chapter 4 Breakthrough to the Late Bone Forging Stage. A high-level energy ore, containing chaotic and sharp spiritual energy, which cannot be directly absorbed for cultivation, but can be used as an energy ore for refining and is widely used in basic mechas, small spacecraft, rune spirit cannons and other fields. Non-regulated energy. The current market price, 1 kilogram is priced at about 200 spirit coins. Looking at the information displayed on the phone, Chen Mo's heart was beating again. At this price, he has about 15 kilograms of Qinggang Motherstone in his hand. If it is put on the market for trading, it can be sold for 3,000 spirit coins. I made a fortune today. In addition to the Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste, The income from making a wish today is worth 8,000 spirit coins. Thanks to the gold finger daddy. King Gang Mother Stone is useless to him now, and he can trade it through the dark web later. If he can really sell it for 3,000 spirit coins, he will have a lot more money on hand instantly. Exactly 5 days later, when he goes to Wanbao Pavilion to buy the ice palm, will he be more confident? Period. Feeling the power of the golden finger, Chen Mo silently set 2 goals in his heart. First, use the golden finger to quickly improve the realm of martial arts, strive to break through the innate realm before the 3rd year of high school, and then give birth to the 1st grade Immortal Bone. Second, make money. Chen Mo restrained his excitement and began to formally use the Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste to practice the 108 body tempering techniques to refine the bones. Chen Mo opened the jade bottle, carefully picked up a little blue-black bone paste with his fingers, and applied it to the shoulder blades on both sides. Of the 126 limb bones in the body, only the shoulder blades connected to the trunk bones have not been tempered. The moment the ointment touched the skin, a cool feeling came, but as the drug power penetrated into the muscles and bones, Chen Mo felt a burst of intense burning and itching from the shoulder blades on his back. Chen Mo groaned. The drug worked, this sour and refreshing feeling. Chen Mo quickly set up the training posture and specific breathing method of the method, urging the blood in the body to follow the root of the method, and guiding the medicinal power to temper the bones again and again. At this moment, he felt that every flesh cell in his body became active, and a trace of blood penetrated deep into the bones under the guidance of the method. The first 3 realms of bodybuilding martial arts, skin building, flesh building, and bone building are based on blood and ki. Refining the skin is like a membrane, which can withstand the explosion of blood and ki in the body. Refining the flesh is crystal clear, which can use the power of every flesh cell in the body and burst out the power through the muscles instantly. This is also the reason why fat people are generally stronger than thin people. The difference between the two is that although the flesh cells in the body are of the same quality, they are different in quantity. Of course, this is only for ordinary people. After practicing martial arts, it depends on the degree of tempering of the flesh. Chen Mo has already passed the first 2 levels and entered the middle stage of bone refining. Refining bones is like a diamond, and the tendons are like a dragon bone like a diamond. Bones are the basis of strength. The ki and blood in the bone refining realm enter the bones and refine every detail deep in the bones. At this point, the strength can lift a tripod and overpower a tiger and an ox. In ancient times, it was a vanguard general who swept across the battlefield and fought against thousands of people. Now, after nearly 100 years of scientific cultivation, it has become a normal standard for high school graduates. Feeling the power of a galloping horse in his body, driven by the effect of the medicine, Chen Mo became more and more excited as he practiced. He couldn't help but exhale and speak in accordance with the method, immersed in the practice. If there is a 3D imaging scanner at this time, it will be found that Chen Mo's metabolism is rapidly changing at a speed of hundreds of times. Even the bone marrow deep in the bones is undergoing an unknown transformation. The precious medicinal effect in the Tiger Demon Bone Refining Paste quickly dissolves in the body under the guidance of the method, thereby breeding a large amount of golden ki and blood power to drill into the shoulder blades on both sides of Chen Mo 1 hour later. Continue, increase the dosage. 3 hours later, Chen Mo finally finished the practice of 108 body tempering techniques. The shoulder blades on both sides were finally tempered with the help of the Tiger Demon Bone Tempering Paste. Breakthrough, late stage of bone tempering. As expected, the effects of practicing with and without medicine are completely different. The next step is to guide the blood and ki to temper the 51 trunk bones. Chen Mo felt the surging blood and ki in his body, and the bones of his limbs were as hard as diamond. Just these 3 hours of practice have exceeded the effect of the practice room in the school library. The library is a practice room arranged on the first-level middle-grade spiritual vein. 1 hour of practice is equivalent to 3 hours of hard work in other places. No wonder the old saying, poor in literature and rich in martial arts, those children from rich families make such rapid progress. Every day, they either practice on the spiritual vein or use high-quality martial arts secret medicines. They can't help but be fast. If it weren't for the consideration of the martial arts foundation, which affects the quality of the celestial bones that will be born later, some children from rich families would probably rush to the innate realm in the 2nd year of high school. Chen Mo thought inside. It's impossible not to envy, but soon his thoughts changed, and a firm and happy look appeared on his face. Now that he has the golden finger, I believe he will be able to catch up soon. After practicing, Chen Mo washed off the sweat and dirt left on his body, and found that it was already past 12 o'clock in the middle of the night. But tomorrow is Saturday, and it doesn't matter if I go to bed late. If it doesn't work, I can go to the nutrition warehouse in the library and sleep for a few hours to restore my energy for the day. Chen Mo came to the room, picked up the Qingyang Mother Stone in his hand, and thought about how to get rid of it quickly. This kind of thing with unknown origin is definitely not easy to sell through formal channels, and can only be sold through the dark web black market channels. But whether it is in the previous life or this life, Chen Mo is an honest man who has suffered a lot. He is really worried about dealing with black market people. Forget it, don't rack your brains, just make a wish. Make a wish. I want to know how to safely deal with the Qingyang Mother Stone in my hand in the next few days. As the words flashed in his consciousness, a stream of information instantly rushed into Chen Mo's mind. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. Wish analysis, Path 1, log into the dark web forum with an anonymous account. In 5 days, someone will ask to buy the Qingyang Mother Stone. You can sell it safely at the market price. Path 2, rush to the Yao Lake Market in Jiangcheng at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Stand at the street corner of the market and wait. A girl in a white skirt will come to chat with you. You can sell the Qingyang Mother Stone safely by looking for her. Path 3, go to the Wanbao Pavilion in Jiangcheng. You can sell the Qingyang Mother Stone safely. You will be involved in a storm in 30 days. After the storm, you will get a little compensation. It's safe. After reading the prompt information, Chen Mo's eyes lit up. There are 3 paths. The first one is the safest but takes too long. The second one is the most suitable at present. You can go there on time tomorrow to sell it. On the contrary, the third path gave Chen Mo a surprise. Small compensation, safe. In theory, this path is indeed safe, but the small compensation at the end obviously caught Chen Mo's attention. I don't know what the specific compensation is because it exceeds the conditions, and the gold finger did not tell him. Make a wish. I want to know what kind of troubles I will experience if I choose the third path, and what compensation I will get. Just as Chen Mo finished speaking, he suddenly felt his head heavy, as if his spirit was instantly drained away, and his body felt weightless, as if he was walking on a high step and fell down with one foot. The wish failed. As a stream of information poured into Chen Mo's mind, he finally understood. It turns out that the golden finger cannot be used infinitely. The more frequently you make a wish or the bigger the wish you make, the more likely it is to fail. After each failed wish, you can only wait until your spirit recovers before the golden finger can be used again. Thinking of this, Chen Mo smiled self-deprecatingly. Come to think of it, it is not realistic to make infinite wishes to the golden finger. To be safe, choosing the second path is the most appropriate. Chen Mo is quite content with this. Even making a small wish every day is amazing. Chapter 5 Market Transactions. The next day, at 6 o'clock in the morning, Chen Mo was awakened by the ringing of his cell phone. Chen Mo, come to the school library today, let's learn from each other. Chen Mo was a little confused, and listened to the earnest invitation from his friend Wu Yong on the phone, and paused for a few seconds. No, I have to practice 108 body tempering techniques at home during the weekend. Okay, then I'll go there to study by myself. After being rejected by Chen Mo, Wu Yong didn't think much about it, put away his belongings and went to the school library. Since the Federation has entered the era of technological cultivation, in order to facilitate people's cultivation, libraries, dojos, and special places for cultivation are all open 24 hours a day. Chen Mo hung up the phone, shook his head and sighed. Wu Yong is really a madman in learning. He called so early on Saturday to invite him to study in the library. So domineering. However, he is also a madman in martial arts cultivation. In the absence of any resources, he pushed martial arts to the middle stage of bone forging in the second year of high school. Excluding cultural performance, his progress in this realm is already above average in the class. This may be one of the reasons why the two of them can play together. They both have a stubbornness and madness in their bones. After this breakthrough, Chen Mo entered the top 10 in the class in terms of the progress of 108 body tempering techniques. After rejecting Wu Yong's invitation, Chen Mo's only remaining trace of sleepiness has disappeared. However, the mental exhaustion after the failure of yesterday's wish has not been completely eliminated. He has a hunch that if he wishes again now, he will probably fail again. This made Chen Mo secretly warn himself that the gold finger is not omnipotent. For some things that are not particularly important, if you can avoid using the gold finger, try not to use it. Good steel must be used on the blade, and the gold finger can be used at any time when encountering critical moments. It is also to avoid developing the habit of relying on the gold finger for everything and losing the ability to deal with things. Chen Mo has seen many examples of wasted second generation in the world of immortal cultivation in the biographies of the world of immortal cultivation. Practical and firm, this is his usual style of doing things. After a simple wash, Chen Mo took out his mobile phone to check if there was any news about what happened last night. After searching for a while and seeing that there were no reports of related incidents, Chen Mo felt relieved and completely put the matter aside. It seems that as long as it is completed under the requirements of the golden finger, there will be no accidents, such as being tracked down, hats coming to the door, or revenge, etc. Time quickly came to the morning. Chen Mo followed a second route and came to the Yu Lake Market in Jiangchang City in advance. Since Blue Star entered the interstellar cultivation civilization in 2076, the culture of Blue Star has evolved greatly, and it is not like what Chen Mo remembered in 2023. At this time, Blue Star has integrated many essences of ancient cultivation civilizations and absorbed some cultivation civilizations from other worlds. There are some highly developed scientific and technological cultivation methods, such as the optical magnetic pistol comparable to the attack of key training, the rune spirit cannon with heavy power in the battlefield of the alien world, and the interstellar space battleships. There are also powerful sects similar to the ancient cultivation of immortals, laboratories established by families and enterprises, and groups, such as Wanbao Pavilion, which mainly engages in auction transactions, all of which are for the convenience of people's cultivation. Now that the entire Blue Star civilization is facing the strong invasion of the Blood Nether world, a little darkness is beneficial to certain classes or the entire Federation. As long as it can help give birth to strong people and does not harm the foundation of the Federation will support and allow it. The Yu Lake Market in Jiangcheng is a bustling small market for practitioners to trade, and it is also an underground black market in Jiangcheng. Many items that cannot be seen in the light are traded here. Yu Lake Market. Chen Mo walked on the narrow street. He knew this place in his memory, but this was his first time here. There are not only traditional stalls on both sides of the street, but also some small shops with complete facilities and luxurious decoration. The fragrance of osmanthus and other fragrances in the shops is intoxicating, and the music coming from inside also has a hint of mystery. The goods that can be placed in the store have a certain gold content. The Yu Lake Market has a wide range of goods, from daily necessities to precious cultivation treasures. Pedestrians were rushing around the streets, coming and going constantly. From time to time, some people were shouting loudly, calling out the items they were selling, trying their best to attract the attention of customers. Not far from the street was a bustling trading market. Chen Mo silently observed that the traders here seemed to be quite prestigious, bargaining in a low voice, and talking about items that could not be traded in the open market. The items traded by people in the black market were often somewhat mysterious. Some contraband or precious cultivation items would get higher prices here, and some items that were difficult to buy in the regular market would be exchanged and spread here with the help of the black market channels. This Yu Lake Market seemed to be a self-contained entity, increasingly distant from the outside world. Here, it had its own trade rules, culture and values, and it also attracted many businessmen and hunters, making the exchanges here more noisy and mysterious. Here, some secret transactions would also attract some dangerous people, making the entire black market more crowded. Of course, you also need to be careful when buying and selling things here, because many brokers have the style of playing tricks or even robbing openly. If it weren't for the tip of the golden finger, Chen Mo, a weak chicken in the late stage of bone forging, really wouldn't dare to come here to trade casually. Walking on the street, Chen Mo silently observed and understood the situation here. For some vendors soliciting and hawking, he always responded calmly, adhering to the principle of no sound, no action. The people who mingled here are all shrewd people. If you reveal a trace of signs, they all want to squeeze a few taels of meat from you. This time he came here mainly to sell the Kingang Motherstone, and the rest was just to look. As time passed slowly, Chen Mo came to the street corner of the market and waited quietly. In fact, at this time he had already found the girl in a white skirt he was waiting for. This person looked about 30 years old, with fair skin and a face that was not very stunning but pleasing to the eye, but she had a good figure, slender and not skinny, with a little bit of flesh. Chen Mo secretly observed for a few times, but he did not intend to approach actively. For safety reasons, Chen Mo always adhered to the tip of the golden finger in his heart. He was going to wait until 10 o'clock for the other party to come to him on his own initiative. Seeing this, many brokers who were hanging around here came over enthusiastically and asked about Chen Mo's needs, but they were all rejected by Chen Mo. The girl in the white skirt that Chen Mo was secretly observing also stood aside and looked at Chen Mo silently. Time: it was 10 o'clock. After Chen Mo rejected more than a dozen waves of brokers, the girl in the white skirt finally came up silently and said in a gentle voice, "Hello, friend, I see you have been standing here for a long time. You don't look like you are waiting for someone. My name is Zhou Yan. I have been in the market for 7 or 8 years. I am safe and reliable. If you want to sell something, you can leave it to me." Well, when this person spoke, his eyes were very sincere. Chen Mo observed the other person for a few seconds, paused for a few seconds, and then he silently checked the time on his mobile phone. 10 o'clock. "I want to sell a small portion of Qinggang Motherstone in exchange for spirit coins." With a golden finger guarantee, Chen Mo did not hesitate at this time and took out the Qinggang Motherstone wrapped in cardboard from the package. Chapter 6: Mental Recovery. Qinggang Motherstone. Zhou Yan stopped Chen Mo from unpacking the cardboard, signaled him with her eyes, and walked ahead to the back of an empty tree in front. Chen Mo's eyes flickered, and he immediately understood. He looked up at the greed hidden in the eyes of the brokers around him, and quietly followed Zhou Yan's footsteps. When they came to a century-old camphor tree, Zhou Yan looked up and looked around. She didn't find any surveillance cameras, so she said, "It's safe here." Chen Mo nodded slightly, thinking that a woman who could mingle in the market was not a vase. Zhou Yan looked only a few years older than him in his previous life, but she was much more cautious and thorough than himself. This was what he had to pay attention to. In this future world of cultivating immortals, there were too many things that could threaten his life. Although the golden finger system was turned on, it was definitely not a reliance for him to be careless in the future. Chen Mo carefully removed the cardboard wrapped around the Qinggang Motherstone, revealing a dark green motherstone that was 3 fingers wide and 4 inches long. "My piece of Qinggang Motherstone is about 15.6 kilograms. What price can you offer?" After saying that, Chen Mo handed the stone to Zhou Yan and carefully observed her expression. Zhou Yan took the Qinggang Motherstone and weighed it in her hand. She did not rush to answer, but carefully checked it, took out her mobile phone and quickly scanned it to check, then looked up and smiled at Chen Mo. "The item is correct. What price do you want to offer?" After saying that, her eyes inadvertently glanced at the pair of white honking sneakers on Chen Mo's feet, and she had already guessed Chen Mo's identity in her heart. She was a little curious. If Chen Mo was really a student, where did he get this high-grade energy ore? However, Zhou Yan quickly stopped her curiosity. This was a very dangerous behavior. The first rule of black market transactions is never to easily explore the secrets of the sponsor and the source of the items. How many big men in the black market sank to the bottom of your lake because of curiosity and greed? Chen Mo followed her eyes and saw the shoes on his feet, and his heart jumped. What a powerful look, so insightful. The style of shoes he wears is exactly the youth fashion sports shoes that are very popular among high school students nowadays. People in society rarely wear such shoes. I am afraid that my student's identity has been suspected by the other party. Fortunately, this person is a safe trading partner indicated by the golden finger. If it is another trading partner, I am afraid that many unnecessary things will happen. These thoughts flashed through Chen Mo's mind quickly. He thought carefully for a while and replied, "Qinggang Motherstone is a high-level energy ore with a very wide application. The market price of 1 kilogram is about 200 spirit coins, and there is no worry about the market. My friend, give me an integer of 3,000 spirit coins." Hearing Chen Mo's asking price, Zhou Yan smiled and shook her head. "Brother, you really know how to ask for a price 3,000 spirit coins. This is the market price on the Star Network. Isn't it a waste of my efforts? Then you don't need to come to the market to sell it, right?" Zhou Yan paused after speaking. Seeing that Chen Mo had no intention of giving in, she said seriously, 2,800 spirit coins, no bargaining. "Today, let's make friends with you. If it works, we can trade. If not, you can go to other people to see." Chen Mo was relieved when he heard the price. Not bad, it's higher than I expected. Most of the things sold in the black market are not legitimate, or they are in a hurry to sell, so they are lower than the market price. The other party can give this price, which is very sincere. Chen Mo thought quickly and nodded in agreement. Okay. After speaking, Chen Mo handed the Qinggang Mother Stone to the other party, and then took out his mobile phone and asked the other party to pay 2,800 spirit coins to him. In the market, transactions of several thousand yuan are usually paid directly by direct transfer. If it is a huge transaction, the money will be laundered through several hands, but a certain service fee will be charged. Ding, 2,800 yuan of spirit coins have been deposited. Chen Mo was excited when he heard the crisp notification tone from his mobile phone. It's cashed out. This is another 2,800 spirit coins earned for free, which can cover my living expenses for 3 months at school. The key is that this is picked up for free. It's really good. The transaction was reached, and the relationship between the two seemed closer after both parties were satisfied. At this time, Zhou Yan took the initiative to say, "Happy cooperation, brother, let's add each other as friends. If you have other things to sell in the future, you can directly contact me, your sister. It is absolutely safe and reliable. The key is that I won't cheat you." Chen Mo nodded and left his contact information with the other party. He was quite satisfied with Zhou Yan's ability to do things. In addition, she was arranged by the system, so he felt more at ease to trade with her in the future. However, the name he gave to the other party was Zhou Wu. It was not because he was not kind, but it was the first time for the two sides to meet, so this precaution was necessary. After both parties added each other as friends, Zhou Yan sent some pictures of ancient martial arts, resources and the like to Chen Mo. He took a casual look and had no interest. First, the price was too high and he had no money to buy it. Second, all his efforts now were to cultivate the 108 body tempering techniques to create immortal bones. Other things were unnecessary waste of time for him. Only the creation of immortal bones and the continuation of the immortal path were what he had to consider. After the transaction was completed, Chen Mo then asked Zhou Yan about some special channels and left the market and came to Wanbao Pavilion in Jiangcheng City. Wanbao Pavilion is a giant group that covers Blue Star and other worlds. It mainly engages in the trading and auction of immortal items. Wanbao Pavilion in Jiangcheng City is just a small branch. Since the Blue Star Immortal Dao revived and entered the interstellar era, after so many years of development by all mankind, it now has 10 resource planet worlds directly under Blue Star. Each of these worlds has a branch of the Wanbao Pavilion, such as the second-level resource planet Mars that Blue Star obtained in the early days, the 9th-level world that the Federation humans are now conquering, and the Blood Underworld, where many bigwigs of the Wanbao Pavilion are stationed. Chen Mo came to the Wanbao Pavilion and was greeted by a beautiful woman in her 20s. "Hello, welcome to the Wanbao Pavilion. How can I help you?" "Tuang, employee number 198,198,666. Chen Mo smiled and nodded, and he knew the other party's name by looking at the employee number tag on the chest of the beautiful woman. "Hello, I want to buy a pill that can restore my spirit. Can you introduce it to me?" As soon as Chen Mo finished speaking, the other party took out an ultra-thin interface tablet very professionally and placed it in front of Chen Mo. "Okay, sir, you can take a look here. We have 16 kinds of pills for restoring spirits in Jiangcheng Wanbao Pavilion, including 9 first level, 5 second level, and 2 third level. If it is higher than the 3rd level, you can order it now. We will quickly send it to you from other branches through the internal transfer array channel." With a professional introduction of the other party, pictures of various precious pills with their effects, properties, and introductions from which alchemists quickly flashed in front of Chen Mo. However, most of them were beyond Chen Mo's reach. In the end, Chen Mo gritted his teeth and spent 1,000 spirit coins to buy a first-level restoring spirit pill. As the name suggests, this restoring spirit pill is specially used to restore mental loss and is suitable for low-level key training monks. The mental deficit caused by making wishes too frequently yesterday has not been restored until now, so he can only find a way to take pills to regulate it. If he waits for the body to recover naturally, it may take another day or 2. But these 2 days are weekends, and recovering as soon as possible will bring greater help to Chen Mo, and it will also make it easier for him to understand his golden finger system. After the transaction, Chen Mo directly threw the black recovery pill the size of his little finger into his mouth. Gudong. As Chen Mo swallowed it, the pill slid into Chen Mo's stomach and melted quickly. In an instant, Chen Mo felt a clear and spiritual air rising in his head, as if being caressed by a cool breeze. The originally heavy and exhausted spirit was quickly replenished and gradually returned to a full state. Chapter 7 Purple Spiritual Liquid. Chen Mo didn't expect the returning pill to work so quickly. It's a bit expensive, but the effect is really good. Next, I can make a wish again. This feeling is really fucking good. Chen Mo left Wenbei Pavilion with a happy mood and light steps. Not long after, Chen Mo received a call from his mother, urging him to go back, saying that there was a gift for him. He couldn't help but speed up his pace. In this life, although Chen Mo's family background is very ordinary, the family of 4 is very warm and harmonious. The family affection in his memory makes Chen Mo feel very warm, which makes him subconsciously very willing to integrate into the family relationship in this life. Chen Mo's mother Liu Wei now works in the Prekin pharmaceutical factory in Jiangcheng. Since pharmaceutical factories generally adopt closed management, the factory regulations and work and rest are relatively strict, so Liu Wei can only come back a few times a week to visit them. Father Chen Shuling works on the basic line of Qinghai Fuji Company in the neighboring province, and comes back even less frequently. Both of them are ordinary mortals without spiritual roots. They work hard to make more money for their brothers and sisters to study and practice. Chen Mo discovered that although the current blue star has become a highly developed interstellar cultivation civilization, the lives of ordinary people living at the bottom have not escaped the fate of being exploited by hard work. It can be seen that no matter where you are, in what era of civilization, classes will always exist, and some have just changed in a different way. It is said that when the immortal way just revived, there were people who wanted to create a fairyland where everyone was like a dragon, but unfortunately. Thinking of this, Chen Mo couldn't help shaking his head and laughing. It's a bit far-fetched. As a social animal at the bottom, he actually had such feelings. Chen Mo couldn't help but laugh at himself. The story of a dragon-slaying hero turning into an evil dragon is not new anywhere. The world is a melting pot. In this life, Chen Mo only wants to cultivate immortality and seek the way to make the people around him live better. Half an hour later, when he returned home, the meals at home were already prepared by Liu Wei. Mom, Xiao Penjian, I'm back. After pushing open the door, Chen Mo greeted a woman in the living room who looked like a medium-sized, neat and dignified woman with neat and clean black short hair. This is Chen Mo's mother in this life, Liu Wei. Every time Chen Mo sees her, he can always feel the maternal tenderness and care in her eyes. Xiao Mo, wash your hands and eat when you come back. This time I made the braised pork trotters that you and your sister like the most. Come and try it. Liu Wei stood up and greeted them kindly. She is usually busy with work, and it is difficult for her to take care of all aspects of her children's lives and life, so every time she comes back, she will make a table of rich delicacies to make up for the slight sense of guilt in her heart. At the dinner table, Chen Mo ate the delicious food made by Liu Wei, and couldn't help saying, Mom, what is the gift you told me on the phone just now? When he heard the word gift, Chen Yuan, who was sitting on the side eating, suddenly widened his eyes and looked at the two of them. Liu Wei smiled and explained, I knew you couldn't help it. Do you remember a few days ago, your uncle called and said that your cousin Liu Ting would apply for a purple spiritual liquid in the near future? Hearing this, Chen Mo's heart moved. It was a few days ago when he just crossed over. Liu Wei called to ask about his current cultivation realm. It was said that his cousin, who is a junior in the Department of Taoism at Jiangcheng University, could use school points to apply for a quota of purple spiritual liquid to see if Chen Mo's realm had reached the bone refining realm. It would be a waste if it was used in the skin refining and flesh refining realms. Purple spiritual liquid is a kind of elixir deduced by the Central Hongming Formation Spirit Computer based on the ancient martial arts essence pill formula. It is a superior elixir for practicing 108 body tempering techniques. It has the effect of accelerating cultivation and breaking through realms without damaging the foundation. And this special elixir is hard to buy on the market. At this moment, the relevant information of purple spiritual liquid flashed quickly in Chen Mo's mind. Chen Mo nodded and said excitedly, Purple spiritual liquid, my cousin got it. Well, your uncle just gave it to me this morning. Liu Wei responded with a smile. After that, she carefully took out a 3-inch high pill bottle from her bag. The glass of the bottle was purple and looked very mysterious. From a distance, you could feel its clear and deep breath. Every drop of liquid in the bottle was bright red, but it was also flashing with a hint of purple light. Liu Wei pushed the purple spirit essence liquid in front of Chen Mo and said with relief, "With this bottle of purple spirit, Xiaomo, I believe you should be able to quickly break through to the late stage of bone forging, and even have the hope of breaking through to the perfection of bone forging before the start of the 3rd year of high school. Then in your 3rd year of high school, you still have a glimmer of hope of breaking through to the innate realm." Chen Mo looked at the small pill bottle on the table, and couldn't help showing a hint of excitement in his eyes. With this purple spirit essence liquid, he can not only break through to the late stage of bone forging, he will even be able to break through to the internal energy realm in a few days. He can completely impact the innate realm before the start of the 3rd year of high school. You know, he had already broken through to the late stage of bone forging yesterday, and there was still more than half a bottle of Tiger Demon bone forging paste that had not been used, plus the purple spirit essence liquid, a superior pill liquid that does not damage the foundation and accelerates the practice of breaking through the realm. The remaining bone forging perfection is not a problem at all. "Thank you, Mom." Chen Mo took the purple spirit essence liquid excitedly. "Mom, I owe my uncle's family a lot of favors this time." Chen Mo put away the pill bottle and thought. He had checked the price of purple spiritual liquid on Star Internet before, and it cost 15,000 spirit points per portion. The key is that there is no demand for it, and the premium is very high, so it is difficult for ordinary people to get it. In order to get this point quota for his cousin, many relatives and friends have asked their uncle's family for help. It's okay, your uncle also hopes that you can be admitted to the Taoism department of the university, and you just need to work hard to practice. When you have a bright future, remember this favor from your cousin. Liu Wei obviously didn't want Chen Mo to feel pressured by this, and quickly comforted him. Chen Mo nodded. "Well, don't worry, Mom, I will work hard to practice, and I will definitely give you a surprise later." He resisted the urge to tell Liu Wei that he had already broken through to the late stage of bone forging. It was just right that he could take advantage of the opportunity of the purple spiritual essence liquid to break through at the same time, and he would not have to make an excuse. Next, he could use the effects of the purple spiritual essence liquid and the Tiger Demon bone forging paste to quickly break through to the inner key realm with the help of the 1st grade superior training room in the school library. Then in 2 days, he could go to the Wanbao Pavilion to buy the ice palm to obtain the divine will visualization diagram to comprehend, and then break through to the Xiantian realm, and he would be able to give birth to a top-level cultivation genius with a 1st-grade immortal bone comparable to a single spiritual root. Chen Mo had very clear steps for each of the next steps of cultivation. He even had a desire in his mind. After he trained his ki and built his foundation, he might find an opportunity to let his parents resume their immortal path. Newcomer, new book, I beg all the big guys passing by to collect, recommend, and follow me. I'm grateful to you all. I also thank the big guys who invested, recommended, and commented on my support. I'm reading the comments silently. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, Ways to Understand the Sword Intentions. HMPH, Mom, you are biased. Why does my brother have a gift, but I don't? At this time, Chen Yuan, who was sitting on the side, looked at the purple spiritual liquid in Chen Mo's hand with envy, and couldn't help but act coquettishly towards Liu Wei. Okay, Yuan, you are still in the skin refining realm, you don't need this secret medicine. When you reach the bone refining realm in the future, Mom will prepare a gift for you. Liu Wei touched Chen Yuan and comforted her. Chen Mo glanced at his sister who was still in the 6th grade, and said with a smile, "Little fatty Yuan, as long as you study hard, I will take care of all your cultivation resources in the future." After hearing Chen Mo's words, Chen Yuan's quirky eyes suddenly lit up. "Brother, this is what you said, and Mom is listening next to me, and can testify for me." Chen Mo nodded and said firmly, "I said it." Haha. Chen Yuan patted his chest and made a solemn promise. "Brother, wait, I will break through the skin refining realm soon, and I will definitely practice faster than you." Time passed quickly in the happy atmosphere of the family's communication. Afterwards, Chen Mo returned to his room and continued to apply the Tiger Demon bone forging paste to temper the 51 trunk bones. After practicing the 108 body tempering techniques, Chen Mo continued to practice the wind sword technique. This sword technique was a first-level ancient martial arts sword technique that Chen Mo chose to take in his freshman year of high school. This sword technique is divided into 4 realms: entry, minor success, major success, and perfection. It is said that when practicing to the perfection realm, the sword will be as fast as the wind rolling up the fallen leaves, and there is even a level of sword intent above perfection. Han Feng, the cold weapon teacher who taught Chen Mo and others, realized his own sword intent of killing and punishment. This was what he realized when he fought with alien races in the battlefield of the alien world. Han Feng had shown it to Chen Mo and others once or twice. It was a killing thought that invaded his mind. At the moment when Han Feng drew his sword, Chen Mo and others were as if they were stared at by a killing god. Stimulated by the killing intent, their hair stood up and trembled unconsciously. Chen Mo has only practiced swordsmanship to the minor success stage. His original thought was that he could practice the Kuangfeng swordsmanship to perfection before the college entrance examination and get 100 points in the cold weapon elective. But now he doesn't think so. Make a wish. I want to know how to practice the Kuangfeng swordsmanship and comprehend the sword meaning within a month. As Chen Mo's thoughts fell, a stream of information instantly rushed into Chen Mo's mind, and the handwriting flashed and emerged into his consciousness. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. Wish analysis. Way 1. Spend 100,000 spirit coins to hire the owner of the Jiangcheng City Kuangfeng Sword Hall for private guidance and sparring for 1 month, so that you can comprehend the Kuangfeng sword intent. Way 2. Enter the front battlefield of the Blood Netherworld, fight with creatures from another world, and comprehend the killing sword intent on the verge of life and death. Way 3. Find Lu Hentang, the president of the Jiangcheng University's Cultivation Department, and get his appreciation. Participate in the secret trial of Jiangcheng University half a month later, and you will have the opportunity to comprehend the fast sword intent. Way 4. Buy a Dingshan pill, go to Huanshan Pavilion in Yiwu Lake Market. After taking the Dingshan pill, touch a palm-wide black broken sword in Huanshan Pavilion, feel the invasion of the Black Wind Sword Prison's sword intent, and find a sword intent master to fight. Use the sword intent to oppress and stimulate, and comprehend the storm sword intent. Path 5. As the information of more than 10 paths emerged in his mind, Chen Mo's eyes flickered. He didn't expect that there were so many paths to achieve the wish of sword intent. After a careful review, Chen Mo decided to choose path 4, which was the easiest to achieve. Other paths were either too expensive or not suitable for his current situation. The Huanshan Pavilion in the market. Chen Mo muttered in his heart and thought for a while. When dealing with people in the market, he didn't know the depth of the water, so he thought he could ask Zhou Yan for help to find out first. With a change of mind, Chen Mo took out his mobile phone and contacted Zhou Yan directly to inquire about the Huanshan Pavilion. Zhou Yan was a little surprised when she received Chen Mo's call at first, but after knowing the purpose of the call, she was very enthusiastic and willing to help take him to the Huanshan Pavilion. The next day, Chen Mo first spent 1,500 spirit coins at Wanbao Pavilion to buy a Dingshan pill, and then came to the street corner of the market to meet Zhou Yan. After a while, the two met. Zhou Yan smiled and said, "Brother Zhou, what exactly are you going to buy at Huanshan Pavilion? The boss there is very cunning." "Sister, I will only show you the way, I may not be able to help you much." Speaking of which, Zhou Yan and Chen Mo only met for the second time. Every time she called him brother, it was very kind and natural, which made Chen Mo feel very comfortable, as if they really knew each other for many years. Chen Mo thought that this might be the difference between people. He was not good at dealing with people in terms of words. If Zhou Yan and he get along sincerely, there may be many things to trouble him in the future. He doesn't mind looking for her for follow-up cooperation. Chen Mo smiled and explained. "It's not a big deal. I heard that Huanshan Pavilion has a lot of good things for cultivation. I was a little curious and went to see if I could buy 1 or 2. Zhou Yan looked Chen Mo up and down and teased, "I really didn't realize that Brother Zhou is a hidden rich man." Hearing Zhou Yan's teasing, Chen Mo couldn't help but smile. Rich man, what a joke. After buying the soul-calming pills, he only had a few $100 left in his bank card. Actually, he came here for free. Zhou Yan didn't know what he was really thinking, so she continued with the previous topic. "There are a lot of good things in Huanshan Pavilion, but they are all very expensive. I haven't met their real boss either, I've only dealt with their store manager a few times. Many of their things are bought from the black market, half real and half fake, and they are not returned or exchanged after leaving the store. Brother, if you want to pick something later, you should look carefully and be cautious. Chen Mo nodded seriously. Thank you for your reminder, Sister Zhou, I understand. I'm asking you to come over and help me take a look. Not long after, under the leadership of Zhou Yan, the two came to a two-story, antique shop deep in the market. Huanshan Pavilion, the shop has a formation, the walls are dark wood, and each wooden board is engraved with different patterns and designs, making the whole shop more exquisite. There were all kinds of items related to cultivation, such as bronze incense burners, brass maces, red stone inkstones, exquisitely carved jades, ancient bottles of elixirs, etc. Many of the precious items were things that Chen Mo had only seen online. Seeing that Zhou Yan, an acquaintance, brought Chen Mo into the store, the manager of Huanshan Pavilion personally came over to greet the two. The manager of Huanshan Pavilion was a gaunt old man who looked to be in his 60s. Zhou Yan called him Old Kin. After Chen Mo smiled and said hello, he left Zhou Yan to deal with Old Kin. He quickly browsed the items on display in the store. Sure enough, not long after, his eyes saw a palm-wide black broken sword on a wide wooden rack struck by lightning in the corner of the first floor. Chapter 9, Storm Sword Intent. In order to confirm that this was the black broken sword mentioned by the system, Chen Mo also browsed all the items in the store. After finally finding that there was only that broken sword, he was sure in his heart. It is it. Chen Mo suppressed his excitement, quietly took the calming pill, and walked closer. Oh, little brother, are you interested in this broken sword? Seeing that Chen Mo's eyes stayed on the black broken sword, Qin Lao stepped forward and said. Chen Mo shook his head and responded casually. I'm a little curious. I wonder what's so magical about this broken sword placed here. What he said seemed very casual and light, as if he was just curious and asked casually. Qin Lao smiled and explained, this broken sword is not simple. It is a precious spiritual object brought back by a blue star master from the blood netherworld who killed a master from another world a few years ago. I don't know how many people want it. If you are interested, you can buy it back and study it. You will definitely gain a lot. Chen Mo did not comment on his words. He thought, the treasure is undoubtedly a treasure, but it is a broken sword after all. If his system did not prompt him to know how to use it, others who picked it up would probably not know how to use it. Chen Mo nodded and asked casually. How much? Qin Lao glanced at Chen Mo and said with a smile, for the sake of Miss Zhou, the friend price is 150,000 spirit coins. After hearing the price, Chen Mo shrugged his shoulders, smiled and did not answer. At this time, the calming pill he had just swallowed had quickly melted in his body. Chen Mo felt it silently and felt that after taking this pill, his mind seemed to become stable and concentrated. Calming the mind and protecting the soul. You will know the specific effect after trying it. Anyway, he came here for free. The idea was certain. Chen Mo stepped forward lightly and directly placed his palm on the sword. Seeing this, Qin Lao did not stop Chen Mo's action, but just curled up the corners of his mouth and revealed a mysterious smile. It seemed that he was waiting to see a good show. Zhou Yan, who was watching the scene secretly, instinctively wanted to stop Chen Mo, but after seeing that Chen Mo's right hand was placed on the sword and there was nothing unusual, she resisted the urge to persuade him. She thought that Chen Mo should have his own sense of propriety in his actions, so she waited and saw. Little did she know that when Chen Mo's right hand was placed on the sharp black sword, there seemed to be an invisible attraction that pulled his mind into a sword consciousness environment. At this time, Chen Mo felt that he was in the center of a storm vortex. The surrounding was full of wanton sword intent that rolled in like a storm, rushing towards his body like a silver wave. The storm sword intent evolved into a sharp sword that attacked him, and the offensive changed rapidly, and even the moves could not be distinguished. Only sword shadows were seen flying, like hundreds of long snakes bursting out. Chen Mo instinctively used his most familiar wind sword technique to fight against it, trying to disperse the sword shadows that attacked him. The sword's whistling wind was as sharp as a hurricane, and the sword's edge was extremely sharp, slicing the air, making Chen Mo's weak body look miserable in the storm. The thick murderous aura emitted by the storm sword intent enveloped Chen Mo, as if an invisible sword prison trapped him. Chen Mo was horrified. Is this the black wind sword prism prompted by the system? It's really terrible. At this time, every sword strike was like a thunderbolt, tearing through all his obstacles, making it impossible for Chen Mo to dodge, and he could only let the sword intent sweep through. Attacks came one after another, like a pack of wolves besieging. Chen Mo felt that his spirit was plowed over and over again by the sword intent, and a destructive pain came from his consciousness. With each sword intent attack, his spirit seemed to be torn and melted by the sword intent. Soon his spirit would fall into a weak coma. At this time, a continuous spiritual power in his body poured into his spiritual sea of consciousness, allowing him to wake up and protect his last mind. This is the effect of the soul-settling pill. The pain of clear destruction kept coming. Chen Mo almost wanted to escape from this storm sword prison. Anyone would feel that if he continued to persist, his consciousness would be destroyed. If it were someone else, without the calming pill prepared in advance, he would probably be torn apart by the sword intent in an instant and shaken out of this state of mind. But Chen Mo finally resisted this impulse. He knew that this was the fastest way to quickly perceive the sword intent, and it was safe. Chen Mo gritted his teeth and endured the pain, insisting on waving the wind sword technique to fight against the sword intent storm. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. Chen Mo gradually found that his sword moves gradually became more and more flexible, and the speed of the sword was getting faster and faster. The sword technique is perfect. Chen Mo frowned, endured the pain from his mind, but was secretly surprised in his heart. It turns out that the sword technique can be mastered so quickly. Time passed slowly. When Chen Mo used his sword moves to fight against the invasion of the sword intent, the invisible storm sword intent also slowly penetrated into Chen Mo's spiritual sea of consciousness, slowly changing his sword techniques and sword moves. Sword forward, sword backward, sword up, sword down, sword through the heart, sword sweep, sword flying, sword strike, sword break, sword horizontal, sword swing. Each sword move is simplified, becoming the most basic sword action, but all of this revolves around the origin of the storm sword intent. Swordsmanship is perfect. Chen Mo has now completely adapted to the pain brought by the confrontation with the storm sword intent. The sword moves in his hand are extremely simple, but each sword is deadly. Gradually, he immersed himself in this unmanned environment. In this sword intent environment, wisps of storm sword intent melted Chen Mo's spiritual sword moves, and finally evolved into an invisible storm sword intent seed that settled in Chen Mo's spiritual sea of consciousness. At this time, Chen Mo's scream resounded throughout the venue, and the storm sword intent offensive reached a magical climax. The entire sword intent environment was like thunder and lightning, and finally erupted at this moment. As Chen Mo chopped down with a sword beam, the entire storm sword prison exploded. Chen Mo suddenly opened his eyes. A sharp sword light flashed in the depths of his eyes. He actually condensed the storm sword intent seed. Chen Mo's sight returned to reality, and it seemed that only a few breaths had passed. What a magical broken sword! I must get this sword in my hands if I have the chance. With a sword in hand, he can even continuously cultivate sword intent masters in the future. These thoughts flashed through Chen Mo's mind like lightning. Finally, he held back his excitement and pretended to be calm and looked at Zhou Yan and Qin Lao. What do you think, little brother? This broken sword is not simple. Qin Lao teased. He didn't remind Chen Mo in advance, just to let Chen Mo see the power of this broken sword. Only by letting Chen Mo suffer a loss, will he understand the preciousness of this sword more. Little did he know that Chen Mo had already prepared, and he condensed the storm sword intent seed in his body. Next, he only needs to go back to just his spirit, and find a sword intent master to fight for excitement, and then he can completely comprehend the sword intent. Chen Mo nodded and smiled a few times in response. Qin, this sword is indeed not simple, but 150,000 spirit coins is far beyond our budget. I am short of money. I will come back to see it next time I have a chance. Sorry for disturbing you. After saying that, Chen Mo signaled Zhou Yan with his eyes. The two of them quickly left Huan's home pavilion. Chapter 10 Past Grudges. He gained a lot from this trip. He condensed the seeds of sword intent and perfected his sword skills. If this was a few days ago, he would have scored 100 points in the cold weapon elective, and the total score would be 550 points, reaching the scoreline of the general undergraduate department. In addition, he is about to break through to the inner energy realm, which can add another 25 points. Moreover, as he breaks through, his mental strength becomes stronger, and the following cultural scores will also improve rapidly. It can be said that it is not a big problem to be admitted to the university's cultivation department at this time. And this is the result he has achieved in the past 2 days after he just opened the Golden Finger system. It is just a preliminary improvement. He believes that as time goes by, the role of the system will become more and more important, and that will be the time for him to really explode. Chen Mo sighed secretly, and was glad that he traveled to the future world. Not only are there abundant cultivation materials, but there are also various high-tech equipment to cooperate and guide cultivation. Even the problem of not having the spiritual roots of cultivating immortals can be solved by cultivating immortal bones through acquired cultivation. If it were other travelers, they might be hiding in some corner of the world to learn boxing and martial arts, suffering from the lack of spiritual roots and slowly developing. After leaving Huan's Hun Pavilion and parting with Zhou Yan, Chen Mo returned home to continue to apply the Tiger Demon bone forging paste to practice bone forging. After one day, the first sternum in Chen Mo's body had been tempered. He was waiting for tomorrow's class to borrow the school library practice room to break through to the perfection of bone forging. Monday. Chen Mo carefully hid the remaining Tiger Demon bone forging paste and purple spirit essence liquid in the inner pocket of his clothes and went to school for class. This morning's course is Chen Mo's favorite cold weapon elective course, taught by teacher Han Feng, who returned from the battlefield of the other world. The afternoon is the students' free study time. The high school courses here are different from the 7 or 8 type courses in Chen Mo's previous life. Because it involves martial arts practice, basically half a day is arranged for a main course to be studied, and the remaining half a day is for students to practice on their own. The new teaching content of the 4 main subjects, Chinese, mathematics, science, and 6 arts, has been basically completed in the 2nd year of high school. Most of the time in the 3rd year of high school is free time for self-consolidation and cultivation. It is said that it is even more different in the university cultivation department. The school system of the university cultivation department is 20 years. Most of the study time is self-cultivation, and the teacher only provides basic guidance. Moreover, the headquarters of each university cultivation department are located in other alien world planets belonging to the Blue Star. Chen Mo is very satisfied with this teaching arrangement. If he is trapped in school all the time, there will be many restrictions on the use of his golden finger. 8 o'clock in the morning. Chen Mo came to the classroom, and Wu Yong had already sat in his seat to organize things. Today, Wu Yong looks good. Especially through the muscles under his skin, he looks particularly full and crystal clear, and the muscle lines on his arms are clear, full of strength. Qi and blood are boiling, and the body is crystal clear. Chen Mo's heart moved. This is a breakthrough to the flesh refining realm. Oh, you've broken through to the flesh refining realm. It looks like you've put in a lot of effort these past 2 days. Congratulations. Chen Mo stared at Wu Yong's arm for a second or two, and then congratulated him sincerely. Wu Yong stopped moving his hands, and couldn't suppress a smug smile on his face. Haha, a small breakthrough, a small breakthrough. Chen Mo nodded and smiled. That's good. You should have put more energy into martial arts. Next, as long as you break through to the bone refining realm in your senior year of high school, you can get another 50 points in realm points. The 810-point line for the university's cultivation department can be easily exceeded. After hearing Chen Mo's analysis, Wu Yong nodded at first, then shook his head again as he thought of something, and sighed. Hey, this bone refining realm is not easy to break through. We are not like those rich kids. I don't know when I can reach the late stage of flesh refining. Seeing that Wu Yong seemed a little lacking in confidence, Chen Mo gently patted his shoulder and encouraged him. God rewards hard work, and the efforts you make will definitely be rewarded. In fact, at this moment, Chen Mo is already thinking about how to help Wu Yong later. With the experience of the previous life, Chen Mo deeply knew that no matter where he was, fighting alone was the most strenuous. Although the environment has changed now, the essence of competition in the world is still the law of the jungle. Chen Mo's system is the opportunity to achieve transition. The 6 arts of cultivating immortals, wealth, friends, laws and land. If he wants to obtain more resources of cultivating immortals in this world to help himself, or to help his parents resume their immortal journey, having his own helper may help him save a lot of time. In particular, the laws of the Blue Star Federation stipulate that as long as you have the strength of the key training period, you can register your own laboratory or enterprise with the official registration. Laboratories and enterprises are the easiest to earn library points, and the library points can be used to apply for the deduction of exclusive exercises that suit you, and even help evolve your own secret skills and magical powers. For example, 108 Dao concentrated body art was deduced with the help of the central array spirit Hongmeng computer. These permissions can only be achieved with points. Wu Yuang, Zhou Yan, he can consider these two people. At this moment, Chen Mo's mind was full of ideas about future plans. Hey, Chen Mo, have you heard that the shoe seller Liu Hai has broken through to the inner energy perfection realm these 2 days? When Chen Mo lowered his head to think, Wu Yuang's somewhat indignant and helpless voice interrupted his attention. Shoe seller, Liu Hai. He broke through to the inner energy perfection realm. Chen Mo confirmed. Wu Yuang nodded. Isn't it? I saw him so arrogant this morning. He even threatened that he would take the tiger demon bone forging paste awarded by the class teacher in this final exam. Chen Mo shook his head when he heard it. If he wants to get the reward, it depends on whether he has the real ability by then. The voice was flat, but it showed his full confidence. Wu Yuang thought Chen Mo meant that there would be competition from other outstanding students such as Song Yihan and Li Wu, so he didn't think much about it. Liu Hai, who has the cultivation qualifications of the 3 spiritual roots of water, wood and wind, is considered to be above average in Jiangcheng High School. In addition, he has made rapid progress in practicing the 108 body tempering techniques and is expected to give birth to a superior immortal bone. He is also considered a semi-famous figure in the circle of Jiangcheng High School. His father Liu Hai is Liu Sanchu of the Changliu Group in Jiangcheng, a foundation building boss. The Changliu Group is a leading company in the industry that specializes in the manufacture and sale of shoes. It is considered a well-known upper-class figure in Jiangcheng. It may be because he had a son in his old age. Liu Hai's personality is very arrogant and domineering. He bullies other students at every turn. Therefore, he is nicknamed shoe seller behind his back. In the past, Chen Mo and Wu Yuang were bullied by him. Chen Mo integrated the memory of this life and knew that the most serious time was when Liu Hai had injured the two of them 3 times in a row and robbed him and Wu Yuang of their basic body-quenching liquid. He had a great grudge with the two of them. Chen Mo, be careful to avoid him when you take elective courses later. The final exam is approaching. This bastard likes to cause trouble and fight, affecting other people's exams. As if remembering the bad experience in the past, Wu Yuang's pupils shrank, and he warned with some worry. Chen Mo lowered his head and responded, "Don't worry, I know." After saying that, a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. Chapter 11 Artistic Conception and Sage Bone. After a while, the bell rang. Chen Mo came to the school's indoor cold weapon training ground. The indoor training ground of Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School is different from ordinary indoor playgrounds. Standing in the center of the indoor playground, there are huge silver brackets around to support the entire roof, without any support columns, allowing sufficient sunlight and fresh air to flow freely. The entire indoor building is full of technology. The large projection screens on the walls and the ground display relevant videos and instructions for cold weapon training at any time, allowing practitioners to learn at any time. Around the playground, there are all kinds of high-tech equipment. There are high-speed rotating robots simulating various sword postures, allowing you to master skills at any time. The electronic tracker can record the progress of students' sword training, so that you can correct mistakes in time. The soft light complements the indoor constant temperature environment and maintains a comfortable atmosphere. The touch-sensitive electronic panel on the wall can easily adjust the brightness and temperature of the light, making people feel effortless. This indoor playground is not only stylish, but the key is that it provides practitioners with a full range of training experience. It is a treasure land full of convenience. Chen Mo sighs every time he stands in the training ground. With such complete facilities, cultivation becomes easier. Technology is different in cultivating immortals. If this were in ancient times, almost everyone would have the opportunity to become a peerless swordsman. At this time, Han Feng, wearing a modern fuchsia bodysuit and holding a 3-foot green peak, inspected all the students in Class 2 who had chosen to take the sword and cold weapons. He had dark skin and a pair of piercing eyes that exuded a cold and fierce meaning, as if he could penetrate the enemy's armor, giving everyone a strong sense of oppression. Chen Mo and the 23 students in the class who chose to take the course waited for Han Feng to give a lecture. In fact, there were 65 students in Class 2, and only 24 of them chose to take the cold weapons. The other elective courses all chose hot weapons. Today's hot weapons such as guns, cannons, tanks, missiles, flying armor, etc. can generally be added with invisibility, breath retention, acceleration, soul binding, sharpness and other related spells. In terms of pure power, they are not weaker than those who have cultivated cold weapon skills. As long as hot weapons are proficient in their related technical operations, they can exert their weapon power 100%, which takes much less time than cold weapons. Therefore, most high school students will choose hot weapons as elective courses, so that it is easier to get 100 full marks in the elective courses in the college entrance examination. In addition to talent, another reason is poor in literature and rich in martial arts. It takes a lot of resources to choose cold weapon skills, but hot weapons do not need to be mastered directly in school classes. There are still a few people like Chen Mo who choose cold weapons because they like swords. Hello, classmates. In the last class we talked about the advantages and disadvantages of cold and hot weapons on the battlefield in the route. Today, which classmate will review and summarize? At this time, Han Feng's unique cold voice was already heard on the field. Han Feng's eyes swept across the students in front of him like a blade. Suddenly, some people felt a little timid in the face of the cold eyes and did not dare to stand up to answer. Chen Mo knew this problem, but he has always been low-key and did not want to take the lead unless he had to. Seeing that the atmosphere on the field was a bit cold. At this time, Song Yihan, who was in class 2, took the initiative to stand up. Teacher, I think this question can be summarized in one sentence. In fighting in another world, hot weapons take the technical route, using all external means to fight the enemy. Cold weapons take the route of self-strengthening. Picking leaves and flying flowers can all be used as swords, but cultivating immortals is to cultivate oneself, not the external. So I think the truly invincible one is oneself. Listening to Song Yihan's sonorous words, Han Feng's cold and fierce expression softened a lot. He nodded and praised, very good, cultivating immortals is to cultivate oneself. Then Han Feng changed the subject and faced the crowd to start today's lecture. Then today I will tell you how to cultivate yourself. Most of you here are ordinary mortals with poor spiritual roots or no spiritual roots for cultivating immortals. Then if you want to embark on the path of immortality, you can only shape immortal bones. But most people in the world only know that there are 5 grades of immortal bones, and the first grade is the highest. The higher the immortal bone qualification, the further you can go on the path of cultivating immortals, but many people don't know how to give birth to high-quality immortal bones, or they know but are powerless to change. There are 3,000 Taoist methods, and each one can prove true immortality. There are the laws of heaven and earth, which follow the principles and rules of heaven and earth, and the golden elixir method, which is passed down by the Taoist ancestor of the golden elixir. And today I will tell you one of the methods of giving birth to high-quality immortal bones. That is to cultivate the sword artistic conception before the innate perfection. Only when you realize the high-quality artistic conception will you have a greater chance of giving birth to high-quality immortal bones and obtaining the divine power given by heaven. At this point, Han Feng looked at everyone with burning eyes, but there was a hint of envy hidden in the depths of his eyes. He is 53 years old this year, at the 8th level of key training, and has no hope of building a foundation. His Tao has been broken. But he hoped that these students could continue his hope and go to see the scenery on the road. People nowadays can cultivate the 108 body tempering techniques to give birth to immortal bones. But for Han Feng's generation, the immortal bone method had not yet been introduced. Hearing this, Chen Mo's heart pounded. So that's it. To become a first-grade immortal bone, you must first understand the top-level true meaning. He finally understood why the first path was to find the hidden divine intention to visualize the entry point and cultivate the 108 body tempering techniques when he made a wish to cultivate immortal bones before. Thinking of this, he suddenly became excited. Now, he has obtained the seed of the storm sword intent, and he can immediately understand the sword realm. Is it possible to have the conditions for the birth of a high-grade immortal bone? Just when Chen Mo was distracted, suddenly, a killing sword intent rushed over. Sword intent. Han Feng stared at everyone and said coldly, "Now I will let you feel what the sword realm is." As soon as Han Feng finished speaking, his killing sword intent was divided into 24 parts, and the killing aura enveloped each student. Suddenly, some people felt like they were on the battlefield, and some people felt like they were in a life and death battle with a sword master. Chen Mo was attacked by this trace of killing aura. In an instant, the storm sword intent seed in his sea of consciousness vibrated slightly. The killing aura surrounding him suddenly melted away like ice and snow. Huh? At this time, Han Feng noticed that the sword intent he released on Chen Mo suddenly disappeared, and he was a little confused. This kid is weird. This Chen Mo took an exam a few days ago, and his wind sword technique was only at the small success level. How did he resist my sword intent? Han Feng was puzzled, so he released another wisp of sword intent to attack him. Weird, it disappeared again. 2 strands? 4 strands. Unknowingly, Chen Mo fell into a confrontation with Han Feng's sword intent. During this confrontation, the storm sword intent in Chen Mo's body beat more and more frequently, and grew rapidly. Until a certain moment. Suddenly, Chen Mo, who was standing still, suddenly had several faint sword winds around him, spinning around him. This is the newly born sword intent. Han Feng looked at Chen Mo with his eyes, and was shocked. How did he do it? Chapter 12. Cultivating Immortality requires pride. To realize the sword intent at the age of 17 is considered a very rare talent in the whole Jiangchen. As a veteran who has experienced the battles in the battlefields of another world, he deeply knows how big the difference is between a student who realizes the artistic conception and a student who does not realize the artistic conception. Don't look at the rapid progress of some students in martial arts now, and some have even cultivated to the Jiangchen realm in the second year of high school. But these people are just okay in the eyes of these high-level key training cultivators. Cultivating the Jiangchen realm in the second year of high school only means that there is a 90% chance of being able to give birth to the Immortal Bone and obtain the qualification of cultivating immortals. It does not mean that these children will definitely be able to produce high-quality immortal cultivation qualifications comparable to double spiritual roots and single spiritual roots. Without good immortal cultivation qualifications, the result will be like these poor cultivators who stop at the key training period. With the current cultivation conditions of Blue Star, as long as the family has certain conditions, they can let their children quickly cultivate to the Jiangchen realm, but there is a saying that it is easy to achieve innateness, but it is difficult to realize the artistic conception. Who among the teachers who can teach in the Blue Star Federation does not have the qualifications for cultivating immortals, and most of them are born with spiritual roots. It's just that their spiritual roots are not very good, otherwise they would not live in the ancestral land of Blue Star to teach these high school students. Therefore, in the eyes of the real foundation building and giant masters, only geniuses who have the birth of the first and second grade immortal bones and are expected to have the golden elixir and the nascent soul will be truly concerned by them. And the premise of nurturing the first and second grade immortal bones is to comprehend the artistic conception. Han Feng looked at Chen Mo in surprise, and quickly recalled the relevant information of this life. Chen Mo, 17 years old, bone forging realm, extremely poor academic performance, average cultivation speed, ordinary family. Well, I really can't see what's special about him. Why can he comprehend his own sword intent once stimulated by his own sword intent? These thoughts tangled and struggled in Han Feng's mind. In the end, he could only explain. This student is a genius with opportunity and understanding of artistic conception. Finally, Han Feng glanced at Chen Mo who was immersed in comprehending his own sword intent, and silently retracted his sight. He did not decide to publicize this matter, but chose to focus on it secretly. Because even if the federal laws are relatively perfect, during the war with the alien world, selfish people and traitors are common. A genius who has not grown up is not a genius. At this time, Chen Mo did not know that Han Feng had known about his birth of the sword intent. He was immersed in the new understanding of the storm sword intent. At this time, he felt that he was in perfect harmony with a long sword in his hand, and even as his thoughts turned, invisible sword winds appeared around him. As his understanding deepened, he knew that this sword wind was a strange phenomenon formed by connecting a trace of rules in the world after he understood the sword intent. However, Chen Mo's sword intent had just been born and was still very weak. Later, as his understanding deepened, it would definitely form the power of the storm sword prison in the broken sword he saw in Huan's Hun Pavilion. After an hour or two, under Han Feng's cover, no other students in the class noticed Chen Mo's abnormality. After revealing the sword intent, Han Feng then combined with a projection on the wall to personally demonstrate how to deepen the practice of swordsmanship and how to understand the sword intent. Time came to the afternoon. After finishing the morning's optional swordsmanship course and thoroughly understanding the storm sword intent, Chen Mo did not feel proud at all. Instead, he finished his lunch immediately and hurried to the practice room in the library assigned to the school's second-year students. Today, he will use the spiritual vein bonus in the first-grade top-grade practice room to completely break through the bone forging perfection and enter the inner energy realm. A good practice room can not only speed up practice, but also allow the effects of the martial arts secret medicine taken to dissolve faster in the body. Therefore, the location of a library practice room is very competitive, and most of the time you have to wait in line. Although Chen Mo's speed is very fast, when he completed the application procedures for the use of the practice room in the library, there was already a person waiting in front of the door of the first-grade top-grade practice room. Fortunately, there are 2 rooms in a practice room, so he can still go in first. If he is at the back of the line and meets the students in front of him, it will be troublesome. Chen Mo exhaled lightly and stood at the door of the practice room waiting. He looked at the students in front of him. I don't know him, he should be from another class. A few minutes later, 7 or 8 more students came after Chen Mo, several of whom were classmates. Chen Mo looked at the time. In a few minutes, the training room would be adjusted and opened under the array spirit computer. He was somewhat fortunate that he was quick today. If he was later, he would not be able to use it. Just then, another student came from the back of the team, attracting everyone's attention. Chen Mo looked back. Liu Hai. Did this guy just break through to the perfection of internal energy? Why did he come to the training room to practice again? Chen Mo was a little confused, but he didn't think much about it. Although this shoe seller had bullied his predecessor in the past, he was devoted to practice after traveling through time and did not have much time to deal with him. As long as he did not provoke him again, Chen Mo would keep a low profile. But things often don't go as planned. Chen Mo obviously ignored Liu Hai's notoriety and influence in the school, and also ignored some dogs. Hey, Brother Liu. Brother Liu, you should also come to the practice room this afternoon. Brother Liu, congratulations on breaking through the inner energy perfection realm. You are about to break through the innate realm, right? As Liu Hai approached, people in the team kept greeting him and flattering him. Seeing this scene, Chen Mo curled his lips and ignored their flattery. A group of little brats, not very good at studying, but they have learned 80% of the social gangs and flattery. A son of the Chang Liu group is worthy of their flattery, and he still wants to practice immortality with such backbone. Cultivating immortality is not watching circuses in the Mandarin Duck Building, not making a name for himself in the market town, and not bowing and selling face. If you don't have a proud character and the determination to move forward straight to the avenue, what kind of immortality is there? Chen Mo doesn't think that you can become an immortal by relying on so-called personal relationships and events to flatter the powerful and seek immortality. If you can't even pass the most basic level of Daozin, you will either roll in the mud or die from infatuation. Chen Mo shook his head, ignored the noise in his ears, closed his eyes and waited for the door of the practice room to open. But at this moment, the students behind him who were fawning on Liu Hai smiled flatteringly. Brother Liu, why don't you stand in front of me? This practice room is used early or late, it doesn't matter to me. Yes, Brother Liu, you come in front of me. One person started, and others followed suit. Haha. Thanks, brothers, I'll treat you to an abalone feast at Haiyan Shengyan another day. Seeing this, Liu Hai's vanity was extremely satisfied. He nodded proudly and walked to the front of the team arrogantly. However, his footsteps kept moving forward and he didn't intend to stop, and walked straight to Chen Mo. The practice room was about to open, and he didn't want to wait any longer. Even if those people made room for him, he would still wait. When did Liu Hai need to line up in front of these people? Liu Hai walked straight to the front of the students who was ranked first. When he passed by Chen Mo, he deliberately raised his head and glanced at Chen Mo with disdain, and said loudly, Li Heng, can I stand in front of you? Newcomer, please collect, read and recommend. Long live the readers. Thank you for the recommendation votes of Hidden Romance Boss for the past few days, thank you very much! Exclamation mark. Chapter 13 Breakthrough to the Bone Forging Realm. At this time, Li Heng, who was standing in front of Chen Mo, showed a smile. He shrugged, took a step back, and said casually, it doesn't matter. Liu Hai standing in front of him did not affect his first time to enter the practice room. In addition, the two knew each other, so what was the problem with giving Liu Hai face? But as he stepped back, Chen Mo was forced to retreat to the back, and he would miss the first batch to enter the practice room to practice. This not only delayed his time, but also stepped on Chen Mo's face. Chen Mo opened his slightly closed eyes and gently pressed his palm on the back of Li Heng, who was retreating. My classmate, the school has a rule that you must use the practice room in the order of queuing first. Please abide by the order of the library. As Chen Mo's cold voice sounded, Li Heng's body was unconsciously pushed back to the original position by Chen Mo, and Liu Hai was pushed against the door. Who knew that Chen Mo's gentle push was like poking a hornet's nest? Several classmates who had just praised Liu Hai in the back immediately began to blame Chen Mo together. Chen Mo, what's wrong with you just giving way? Chen Mo, you are such a loser, how dare you use the first-class training room? Yet, you are the third from the bottom and you dare to use the training room in front of us. Give way to Brother Liu, that's because I respect you. Seeing so many people accusing Chen Mo, Li Heng's original hesitation about whether to offend someone for Liu Hai became firm. He is just a loser who is the third from the bottom. He looks like a bird. What's the big deal if I offend him? He turned around and touched his chin, teasing Chen Mo. They are right. Classmates should give way to each other. It doesn't affect your use of the training room today. What's wrong with you giving way? At this time, the other students who were cut in line stood silently aside, looking like they were standing still to watch the show. Listening to the shamelessness and abuse of these dogs, Chen Mo frowned unconsciously. When did people who insist on rules and abide by order become unreasonable? Is there still morality? Is there still law? He suppressed his anger and insisted to Li Heng in a cold voice, "Classmate, I am in the second position, the first batch to enter the practice room. If you insist on letting him cut in line, then please line up behind me." After saying that, Chen Mo no longer indulged them, and directly stepped forward and pushed Li Heng out of the line. Li Heng was squeezed out of the team, and his face darkened. Seeing that the time was up, he wanted to pull Chen Mo away. "Chen Mo, you fucking, I gave you face, right?" At this time, Liu Hai saw that Chen Mo was so disrespectful to him, so he pointed at Chen Mo and cursed loudly. Chen Mo looked at Liu Hai's finger pointing in front of his nose, and a sword light flashed in his eyes in an instant. "Get out. What a bunch of shit." The cold voice sounded like thunder in front of the practice room door. After the words fell, Chen Mo stretched out his hand, and suddenly grabbed Liu Hai's outstretched finger and twisted it hard. Ah! A slight bone fracture sounded. "It hurts, it hurts, it hurts." Before Liu Hai's internal energy could react, Chen Mo grabbed his fingers and twisted them, forcing him to kneel on the ground in pain. Liu Hai screamed in pain, and cold sweat broke out from his scalp. The internal energy realm is just like this. Looking at Liu Hai, who was grabbed by him and kneeled on the ground, he had never felt so comfortable. Ling. At this moment, an electronic doorbell rang. The time was up and the door of the training room opened. Chen Mo glanced coldly at Li Heng, who was about to help, grabbed Liu Hai and threw him to the side, then squeezed into the training room first, leaving everyone with a clean back. Everyone outside the door stared at Chen Mo, who disappeared in amazement, and was secretly shocked in their hearts. Is this Chen Mo? When did Chen Mo become so bold that he dared to attack Liu Hai in public? He is just a small bone forging realm, isn't he afraid of Liu Hai's revenge? At this time, Chen Mo had already entered the training room, and the people here didn't dare to chase him in and fight even if they had the courage of this guy. Someone secretly took a peek at Liu Hai, who had just climbed up from the ground, with a face as black as the bottom of a pot. Smartly, they didn't go forward to speak. Having lost face in front of so many people, it would be a pity that Liu Hai would hate him too if he spoke now. Li Heng at the door hesitated and glanced at Liu Hai, then after a few seconds, he also slipped into the practice room. Liu Hai looked at the two disappearing figures, his teeth clenched. His eyes flashed with a murderous light, and he glared at the door of the practice room fiercely, then turned around and left. A sneak attack. Attack him. Liu Hai completely hated Chen Mo for making him lose so much face. He must find a chance to make Chen Mo regret coming to this world. At this time, Chen Mo had already come to the practice room and was ready to start practicing, so he didn't care how Liu Hai would deal with him. The first-class practice room has a formation connected to the formation computer that can be controlled, and the underground is equipped with a spirit-gathering formation and underground spirit veins. There is an empty martial arts studio for everyone to practice martial arts. On the wall of the room, there is a smart audio-visual screen that can play practice videos for guidance. At the same time, there is a low-level platform under the corner of the wall, on which are placed some commonly used related practice materials, such as spirit crystals and elixirs, but these can only be used if they are purchased. At one end of the platform, there is a practice nutrition warehouse, which is specially used for breakthrough recovery. For example, People below the key training stage now normally need to rest for 6-8 hours a day, but if they lie in the nutrition warehouse, they only need to spend 3 hours to recover the body's fatigue and physical functions for a day. However, Chen Mo can't use these today. He chose the first level top grade practice room because he needs the top grade spiritual energy in the practice room to help him quickly digest the effects of the elixir in his body. This practice will definitely take a lot of time, so Chen Mo has applied for extra time in the practice room in advance, basically applying for all the practice room time for this semester at once. Start practicing. First, Chen Mo adjusted the indoor temperature and took off his shirt. He took out the tiger demon bone forging paste from his underwear pocket and carefully applied it on the skin corresponding to the trunk bone. Then he took a mouthful of the purple spiritual liquid, which has the effect of accelerating the practice and breaking through the realm. There are 51 trunk bones in total, and he has already tempered the sternum. Now he will start tempering the ribs and vertebrae. The ribs and sternum connect to the human body's dragon spine, forming the chest cavity to protect the internal organs, and the central axis connecting the upper and lower skulls and the trunk. The bone tempering chapter of 108 body tempering secrets is to imitate the heaven and earth. If a person is regarded as a primitive universe, then the head corresponds to the 9 heavens and the blue sky, the lower limbs correspond to the 9 netherworlds, and the spine dragon in the middle is the pillar of the sky, the Divine mountain, which connects the heaven and the earth and plays the role of supporting the sky. The bone tempering realm is to use the power of qi and blood to temper the bones and refine the marrow, so that the bones can support the entire human universe like diamonds and achieve a qualitative change. In many ancient martial arts deciphered by Blue Star, although there are 4 realms of bone tempering, namely, initial entry, minor success, major success, and perfection, they are different from 108 body tempering secrets. It is difficult for the ancient method of bone tempering to temper every tiny bone in the body. In ancient martial arts, people often choose one to train with their divine power. For example, some people are good at using divine power, so they may focus on training the upper limbs, such as Vajra palm and iron sand palm. Some people walk 800 steps a day, so they may train their lower limbs and practice light-footed skills. Some people have heads like Vajra, so they train their skulls and practice iron head kung fu. There are very few people who can train all the bones in the body. The 108 body tempering secrets emphasizes the combination of 36 Dian Gang and 72 Di Sheng, corresponding to the 108 Zhodian numbers. Chapter 14, The Ultimate Yin Qi, the Essence of Cold Moon. Most ancient martial arts seek to obtain the small Zhaoshan, such as the worst 12, 24, 36, 72's Zhaoshan, etc., which actually talks about the root and number of times of practice. The 108 ways to temper the body is divided into 5 levels of 108 Zhaoshan, including skin refining, flesh refining, bone refining, internal energy, and innateness. The previous skin refining and flesh refining are just a foundation. Training the skin and flesh can withstand the burst of power. It is the beginning of the real mystery when it comes to the 3rd level of bone refining. Each level pays attention to the number of 108 Zhaoshan. Chen Mo took Yuan to temper the bones in his body while cooperating with the 108 ways to temper the body practice key points to move the blood in his body. Just when he was officially practicing, a hula-la sound came from his body. This is the sound of the blood in his body being stimulated to the extreme, like the sound of a rushing river. Fortunately, Chen Mo was in a closed practice room. If he was outside, this kind of movement would definitely attract the attention of others. When Chen Mo was completely immersed in the state of practice, he no longer noticed the passage of time. He only knew to follow the bone forging method and temper the bones in his body piece by piece. From the tail vertebrae, lumbar vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, spine, and then the skull. One day later, when Chen Mo woke up from the training state, he found that all the bones in his body had been tempered into jade bones. This is the sign of the perfect state of bone forging. Chen Mo exhaled happily and looked up at the remaining training time displayed on the equipment in the training room. There was more than 1 hour left. Chen Mo showed a satisfied look at the corner of his mouth. It was within the time he planned. Finally, the bone forging is perfect. Next is the internal energy realm. Chen Mo whispered, then he put away his belongings and left the training room. The practice of the internal energy realm is mainly to nourish the internal energy in the body and open up the 108 main veins and 129,600 fine veins in the body. There are two ways to practice to break through the internal energy realm. The first is to continue to nourish the blood and ki in the body after the bone forging is perfect, until the qualitative change breeds a wisp of internal energy. This method is relatively moderate and safe. It relies on the internal ki and blood to increase the internal ki and does not require other conditions. The disadvantage is also obvious. The quality of the generated internal ki is ordinary. Most people will use the first method. Another method is to absorb a wisp of pure and spiritual ki from the outside world and refine it in the body to produce internal ki. This method is the same as cultivating immortals and practicing ki. However, if there is no spiritual root in the body, the spiritual ki absorbed into the body will be lost quickly. Each time, only a trace of spiritual ki can be refined through the power of ki and blood to convert it into internal ki, so the speed of increasing internal ki is relatively slow. Generally, people with spiritual roots use the second method more. The spiritual root has a certain additive effect on the speed of internal ki cultivation. This is why Liu Hai broke through so quickly. As a person with 3 spiritual roots, if it were not for seeking a higher immortal bone, Chen Mo guessed that he might have broken through to the innate realm long ago. Moreover, there are many types of ki in the outside world, including the pure and spiritual ki emitted from plants and vegetation, the water spirit ki gathered in rivers and streams, the thick earth ki of mountains and rivers, and the ki of the sun. Different ki, attributes, and severity will be different. Originally, Chen Mo planned to break through in the first way, but after having the system, he resolutely gave up the first option. So when the first wisp of ki and blood was generated in Chen Mo's body just now, he immediately dispersed it and gave it up. After leaving school, Chen Mo planned to start preparing for the breakthrough of the inner energy realm immediately. Yesterday, he offended Liu Hai to death in front of so many people. That guy will definitely find a chance to retaliate. As long as he breaks through the inner energy realm, coupled with his comprehension of the sword intent, he will not be afraid even if the opponent has perfect inner energy. Moreover, the final exam is coming soon, and the actual combat assessment at that time will inevitably involve a series of battles for the rewards issued by the Ministry of Education. With a flash of thought, Chen Mo immediately began to make a wish. Make a wish, where in Jiangcheng can I collect the top-level pure and spiritual energy, the fastest to break through the inner energy realm? Chen Mo's words rang in his mind. A stream of information rushed into Chen Mo's mind, and the handwriting emerged into his consciousness. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. Wish analysis, Path 1. On the south side of the valley mountain in Jiangcheng, there is a fallen mutant sunflower spirit plant. This sunflower comes from the mutation of the immortal plant on Mars. It has flowers but no fruits. It grows by absorbing the air of the cold moon and blooms at night. When the flower disk blooms and absorbs the air of the cold moon, it will emit the refined extreme yin air cold moon essence. After absorbing and refining, it can break through the inner ki realm at 100 times the speed. Path 2. Every morning, when the sun rises, you can collect a ray of the initial yang air to break through the inner ki realm. Path 3. Every midnight, you can collect a ray of the cold moon air to break through the inner ki realm. Path 4. On the bank of the Mishu River, you can collect a ray of water spirit air every day. After digesting the information in his mind, Chen Mo's eyes lit up. No need to think, just choose the first one. The words make sense. Just 100 times the speed can be unconditionally trusted. And it comes from the mutation of the immortal plant. After getting the next way to break through the internal energy, Chen Mo asked his class teacher Su Cheng for 5 days off through his mobile phone, and took the final exams directly after 5 days. The reason was that he had reached the threshold of cultivation and wanted to go home to prepare for the breakthrough. In this regard, Su Cheng agreed to it without much consideration. The new courses of the second semester of high school have ended, and the next few days will be spent reviewing and preparing for the final exams. To be honest, Su Cheng will not treat students like Chen Mo, who is ranked 3rd from the bottom in the class, differently, but he will not devote too much energy to Chen Mo. After returning home, Chen Mo first took a simple shower to remove the dirt and dead skin on his body after the breakthrough. Then he used his mobile phone to check the online store of Jiangcheng Wanbao Pavilion and found that Ice Palm had not arrived in advance. After asking the customer service, he learned that they would have a new batch of goods in the afternoon. Chen Mo calculated the time. From the time the golden finger system was turned on to now, it was still half a day before the 5th day. Chen Mo sighed helplessly, and the time set by the system was indeed correct. At this time, Chen Yuan went to school for class, and only Chen Mo was at home. The sunflowers on the valley mountain will not bloom until the evening, and he seems a little bored during this waiting time. After sitting at home for a while, Chen Mo suddenly remembered that after he bought the Dingshan pill last time, there was no money in his bank card, and he didn't even have the money to buy the ice palm back. In the future, when he cultivates in the inner energy realm and the innate realm, he will also need to buy a lot of cultivation resources to maintain his rapid breakthrough. In theory, if he makes any wish, the golden finger is enough to give him a feasible method. But with the experience of making wishes several times before, the smaller and more specific the things he wishes for, the clearer and easier it will be for the system to give him. So when thinking of making money, Chen Mo thought of Zhou Yan first. The first 2 times he contacted her, he found that she was quite familiar with the market. Maybe he could make some big money from the market. The idea was settled. Chen Mo took out his mobile phone and started to contact Zhou Yan directly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, Market Treasures. Market. Chen Mo and Zhou Yan walked on the crowded street, and from time to time they could hear the bargaining between vendors and customers. Looking at the various eye-catching items placed in front of the vendors around them, from modern controlled weapons banned by the federal government to some seemingly unknown cultivation objects from another world, Chen Mo couldn't help but ask with some doubts, "Sister Zhou, do you think there are real things on the ground?" Zhou Yan glanced at the vendors on both sides and said lightly, 3 parts real, 7 parts fake. After that, she pointed to an ancient alley deep in the street. "Here, you need to find good things there." Chen Mo followed Zhou Yan's finger and looked at an ancient alley that turned left more than 100 meters ahead. There were also some vendors squatting in the alley, and their identities looked like widows and widowers. And there were few customers who went to the stalls in front of them to pick up goods. Chen Mo said with some curiosity, "Oh, the things there are real." Zhou Yan pouted. 9 fakes and 1 real. After saying that, she seemed to know the doubts in Chen Mo's heart and explained again. "Although there are many fakes there are good things. What is sold outside is common, and the rare things inside are. Also, don't be fooled by the old and crippled appearance of some of the bosses. I tell you that none of these guys are simple. Some of them used to be in the battlefield of another world, some are interstellar hunters, and some are traders who specialize in doing business between the 2 worlds. With the things these people have in their hands, even the mayor of Jiangcheng sometimes asks them for them. Here, the gamble is a courage. Whether you can choose it depends on your own ability." Chen Mo joked after listening to Zhou Yan's introduction. "In this case, Sister Zhou, you really dare to look up to me and bring me in front of those people. Aren't you afraid that I, your little brother, will be eaten up by them?" Zhou Yan touched her mouth and laughed softly. "You said it yourself, asking me to introduce real things that can make money." Chen Mo shook his head helplessly. Zhou Yan also aroused his curiosity. If it was true as Zhou Yan said, with the system in hand, he would really make a fortune today. Soon, the 2 walked in. On the stall, treasures were everywhere, placed in all directions. The 2 people's eyes turned back and forth between different treasures. Among them, a seemingly gloomy sword aroused their interest. The stall owner confidently introduced it, saying that it could devour other people's souls. But Chen Mo had some doubts about its authenticity. In another corner, there was an exquisite fairy mountain with a faint fairy air, and several people who yearned for immortal cultivation walked around it for several laps. The 2 believed in its fakery. Then, they went to a stall specializing in selling talismans. The talismans were engraved with various spells, some of which were as quiet as water, and some of which were shocking. Chen Mo was deeply immersed in these spells, unable to extricate himself, and even confirmed his knowledge of talisman making in the 6 arts learned in high school through these runes. Unfortunately, the 6 arts courses in high school only taught some basics. He couldn't tell the authenticity of most of the talismans on the stalls, and he didn't dare to confirm them. The trading rules here are that you have to buy and leave, and you can't return the real or fake ones. What you are betting on is luck. Because many things here, these vendors don't know where they got them, and even they themselves can't tell whether they are real or fake. Chen Mo picked up a few talisman papers with complicated ancient seals on the stall, looked at them, and put them down again. Then his eyes stayed on a somewhat torn animal skin scroll next to it, which was painted with some ancient symbols he didn't recognize. "Brother, this is an ancient talisman scripture. Do you want to buy it? Maybe you can become an ancient talisman master through this." Seeing that Chen Mo seemed to be interested, the stall owner hurriedly boasted. "How much?" Chen Mo pointed to the torn animal skin scroll and a few talisman papers with a little spiritual energy and asked. If you buy these together, give a lucky round number, 60,000 spirit coins will do." The boss stretched out his right hand and made a 6 gesture, saying with a smile. Hearing 60,000, Chen Mo shook his head and immediately turned his eyes to a stall selling elixirs not far away. This old guy probably took him for a fool. With 60,000 spirit coins, Chen Mo could buy a lot of first-level talismans on the Star Network. In fact, the only thing that interested him here was the broken animal skin scroll. "Don't worry, just read these things. Anyway, the golden finger can distinguish the real from the fake." Then, Chen Mo came to the stall selling elixirs. There were many small bottles of elixirs on the stall, and the small porcelain bottles were filled with colorful pills, each color representing a different effect. The stall owner gave a web game-style explanation, saying that after using them, you can increase your mental power permanently, increase your understanding, and break through the realm. Wow! The effects of these elixirs were indeed a bit too magical, and Chen Mo shook his head after listening. The textbooks on the cultivation of the blue star dare not write like this. However, these dazzling treasures that are difficult to distinguish between true and false made Chen Mo full of expectations and desire for his own path of cultivation. For his golden finger, the richer the cultivation treasures and the higher the world level, the more conducive it is for Chen Mo to develop rapidly. There is a saying that we are not afraid of your expensiveness, but we are afraid of you not having it. Brother, have you seen anything? At this time, Zhou Yan, who was standing aside, stared at a bottle of red pills and asked with some attention. Chen Mo nodded gently. "Start making a wish. I hope that the system can bring me huge gains today." Chen Mo muttered in his heart. "Make a wish. I want to know how to spend the least money to select the 3 most valuable items in these stalls in front of me, and know its purpose." Chen Mo's words rang in his heart. The information of this world is being analyzed, and the wish is being analyzed. After a few breaths. Wish analysis, Path 1, go to the 3rd talisman stall in front of you, spend 1,000 spirit coins to buy the animal skin scroll with the escape talisman next to the talisman. This scroll was passed down from the Green Talisman Sutra, written by the Talisman Emperor 100,000 years ago in the Blood Netherworld 100,000 years ago. Way 2, go to the 5th stall in front of you and spend 20,000 spirit coins to buy the 4th bottle of white medicine from the left. This Bai Li Dan is a Beast Source Foundation building pill. It was obtained from the inner pill of the 2nd level top level demon beast Bai Li Yu along with Lilang bloodline hunted by the Black Demon Master on the Mars 300 years ago. Taking it has a 40% chance of breaking through the foundation building level. Way 3, go to the 6th stall in front of you and spend 500 spirit stones to buy the 6th black boat, broken, from the left in the stall. This boat was obtained from an unknown world. It was made by a 2nd level refiner using black fog-yielded flying spirit weapon. Fuck. Chen Mo digested the information of the wish analysis in his mind. He couldn't help but say it. Escape talisman, foundation pill, flying spirit weapon. This time I'm going to make a fortune. Chapter 16 Treasures in Hand. Foundation pill. This is something that many key training cultivators risk their lives for. It can be said that just this foundation pill alone, Chen Mo's wealth will instantly surpass countless high-level key training cultivators in Jiangchen. Not to mention the escape talisman from the Blood Netherworld and the inheritance of the Emperor of Talisman. Due to limited authority, Chen Mo only knew that the Blood Netherworld was a legendary high-level 9th level world with true immortals. And Blue Star has only just recovered to the 2nd level world, which shows the huge gap between the two. The existence of the Emperor in that world must be amazing. Chen Mo also knew that humans are now fighting in the Blood Netherworld, but in fact they are only fighting against a certain force in it. He had a feeling that this somewhat broken animal skin scroll from the Emperor of Talisman might be a very important opportunity on his road to immortal cultivation. Chen Mo was very excited at the moment. Fortunately, these vendors did not know the goods. Otherwise, if the news of these things leaked out, I am afraid that the whole Jiangcheng would cause a violent shock. The awesome thing about the system is that it not only told him the value of these things, but also gave the bottom price that could be traded. Chen Mo suppressed his excitement and pretended to be calm as he walked to the vendor and continued to check casually. Escape Talisman 1,000 spirit coins. Biley Dan 20,000 spirit coins. Black Mist Gilded Boat 500 spirit coins. Chen Mo casually opened his phone to check his cash balance. Less than 500 spirit coins. Fortunately, he could apply for the King Mo student loan on his phone at any time. This is a product made by the Ministry of Education of Blue Star and the bank. Students can apply for the corresponding amount based on their grades and qualifications. Chen Mo opened the mobile banking interface and clicked on the words King Mo student loan without hesitation. The thin jade-like mobile phone interface changed. Ling. You have a 3,000 yuan spirit coin deposit. It's a bit too little. Damn, this bank looks down on me. Only 3,000 yuan. The bank really only lends to the rich and pays off debts for the poor. The remaining 20,000 spirit coins can only be found by Zhou Yan. Chen Mo turned his head and glanced at Zhou Yan, who was browsing the stalls. Some ideas came to his mind. Soon, Chen Mo picked up the slightly torn animal skin scroll on the stall selling talismans. Boss, how much is this? The old man looked up at Chen Mo and said, This is a treasure I got from another world. If you buy it alone, 50,000 spirit coins must be paid. Chen Mo rolled his eyes at the old stall owner and said casually, Old man, you can save this for others. I am just a little interested in the symbol on it, and I just studied it randomly. Do you really think it is a good thing? In a word, 1,000 spirit coins. No bargaining, sell it if you like. After saying that, Chen Mo put down the animal skin scroll and paused for 2 seconds, then turned around and pretended to leave. Seeing this, the stall owner showed an extremely tangled look on his face, and the wrinkles on his face were almost wrinkled into mountains and ravines. Fuck, how did this guy know the bottom price in my mind? When Chen Mo was about to leave, the old man gritted his teeth and said cruelly, Okay, I'll sell it to you for 1,000 spirit coins. It's not that the old man is generous, but this broken leather scroll, he has tried many ways to study it but it didn't make any sense. Anyway, he picked it up from a beggar at the beginning. I didn't spend money, so I don't feel bad. Today, 1,000 spirit coins can be sold, which is also a pure profit. Soon, Chen Mo transferred 1,000 spirit coins to the boss with his mobile phone and traded the escape talisman. Next, Chen Mo used the same method to spend 500 spirit coins to buy back the Black Mist Gilded Boat. When the system informed the bottom price of the transaction, Chen Mo's purchase is simply cheating. Seeing Chen Mo, he made a series of moves. Zhou Yan looked at Chen Mo in surprise and whispered, What did you see? What's so special about these two things? Chen Mo replied with a smile, I was just curious, so I bought them to study. However, Zhou Yan was obviously skeptical of his words. She had only met Chen Mo a few times, but she always felt that this guy who seemed to be a student was not simple. He acted strangely. Looking at Zhou Yan, there was suspicion in his eyes. Chen Mo suddenly smiled mysteriously, pulled Zhou Yan aside, and whispered, Next, I want to buy a pill, which may cost 20,000 spirit coins, but I don't have enough money. Let's cooperate and split it 50-50. Hearing this, Zhou Yan looked at Chen Mo in surprise. What kind of pill costs 20,000 spirit coins? Zhou Yan shook her head and continued to persuade. The water here is deeper than the bottom of the sea, don't be fooled. Obviously Zhou Yan didn't trust Chen Mo. She must have been crazy to take out 20,000 spirit coins to buy a pill of unknown origin at a street stall. Seeing Zhou Yan shaking her head, Chen Mo understood her worries. It was impossible for her to pay the 20,000 spirit coins without paying high interest. How about this, Sister Zhou? I will lend you 20,000 spirit coins later. If I lose, I will return you 20,000 spirit coins. If I make a profit, we will split it 55-50. How about that? Zhou Yan stared at Chen Mo in surprise, with a hint of surprise and confusion in her eyes. Why did he have such confidence? Although Chen Mo said it well, Chen Mo might not be able to pay it back. This risk is a bit big. Should I lend it or not? Zhou Yan hesitated for a moment. Seeing that Zhou Yan was still struggling, Chen Mo anxiously twisted Zhou Yan's shoulders and said in a sonorous voice, Sister Zhou, look into my eyes. Believe me, I will never let you down today. Zhou Yan looked at the immense confidence and determination revealed in Chen Mo's eyes, and the scale of hesitation gradually tilted. Okay, I'll trust you this time. Seeing Zhou Yan nod, Chen Mo showed a happy smile. The two came to the stall. Chen Mo first pretended to pick and choose. Finally, he picked up the bottle containing Bailey Dan and asked, "Boss, what kind of pill is this and how much is it?" The boss shook his head, did not say the name of the pill, but quoted the price. 120,000 spirit coins. Obviously the boss did not know the specific effect of this pill, otherwise he would not put it here to sell. Pills are not like other things. You can eat them casually, but no one dares to buy them without knowing their effects. A white pill whose effect is unknown costs 120,000 spirit coins. Chen Mo looked at the boss with questioning eyes and said with confusion, "Too expensive. Although we are betting on a vision and luck here, we don't charge such a price." Chen Mo held the pill bottle in front of his eyes and looked at it, saying in a cold voice, 20,000 spirit coins, no bargaining, I'll buy it back for my family elders to study. After saying that, Chen Mo put down the pill in his hand and waited for the other party's reply. The boss obviously also observed Chen Mo's previous habits. After hesitating for a while, he finally agreed to the deal. In the end, Zhou Yan traded 20,000 spirit coins with some pain, picked up the Bailey pill and followed Chen Mo out of the alley. "Where are we going next?" Zhou Yan clenched the pill in his hand and asked in confusion. Chen Mo looked at the exit of the market in front of him and responded with excitement. Wanbao Pavilion. Chapter 17 Purchase Ice Palm and Herb Pill. Half a day later. In the VIP room of Wanbao Pavilion. "Hello, the two of you. After being identified by the alchemists at our headquarters, the pills you are selling are indeed foundation building pills made by the alchemy method of another world." A beautiful female supervisor with a supermodel figure sat opposite Chen Mo and Zhou Yan and smiled at them. After that, she took out a pile of thumb-sized spirit stones that were emitting white light from a delicate storage ring on her finger and placed them in front of the two. "Here are 200 medium-grade spirit stones. Do you think I should exchange them for spirit coins and transfer them to your accounts, or exchange them for 20,000 low-grade spirit stones and deliver them to you?" Zhou Yan looked at the pile of spirit stones in front of her, and her eyes were full of surprise. She really picked up a treasure. Chen Mo didn't lie to her. These are 20,000 spirit stones, which is 2 million spirit coins if converted into spirit coins. Half of them are hers. Even though Chen Mo had prepared himself in advance, he was still shocked by the pile of spirit stones in front of him. "In the past, I only had a few thousand spirit coins at most, but now I suddenly have 1 million more. What a concept. This 1 million is the same as the 1 million in the previous life. If we have to calculate it equally, in today's interstellar era, the purchasing power of 1 million spirit coins is almost equivalent to 100 million. Chen Mo felt that he should be the richest student in number 3 middle school now. This is not counting the inheritance of the escape talisman and the half-broken black mist-gilded boat in his hand. "You too." Manager Gong confirmed again with a smile on her face. She understood the surprise in the hearts of the two people in front of her at this time. The value of a foundation-building pill is something she couldn't exchange for more than 10 years of working in Wanbao Pavilion. This surprise would make anyone faint. After more than 10 seconds, Chen Mo turned his head to look at Zhou Yan. The two exchanged glances and briefly exchanged. Chen Mo said, "Please, Manager Gong, change it into spirit coins for us and transfer it to our account in half. With their current strength and status, it is more convenient to use spirit coins for transactions." "Okay." Guang Yu nodded and agreed. Her voice was like a clear silver bell, and it sounded very pleasant. After a while, Chen Mo and the others received the news that the spirit coins had been deposited into their accounts. Zhou Yan saw that she had 1 million spirit coins in a blink of an eye, and she still couldn't believe it. She looked at Chen Mo with excitement and gratitude, and at the same time, she was more and more mysterious and curious about Chen Mo. If the occasion was not inappropriate, she would have wanted to ask Chen Mo how he did it. At this time, seeing that the transaction had been successfully completed, Guang Yu began to recommend. "You two, we have a new batch of cultivation items here this afternoon. Do you want to choose?" After that, she pushed a tablet interface showing a list of treasures in front of Chen Mo. "The goods for this afternoon have arrived." Chen Mo's heart moved. It seems that the ancient martial arts technique Ice Palm and the visualization diagram that he has been thinking about are finally going to be obtained. Chen Mo took the tablet and quickly flipped through it. Sure enough, he saw the introduction of Ice Palm on it. Ice Palm is a first-level ancient martial arts ice attribute palm method. If it is successfully practiced, It can change the internal energy attribute, and the palm will be like ice water all over the sky. It comes from an ancient martial arts relic under the Kunlun Snow Mountain on Blue Star. Price? 49,000 spirit coins. After reading the introduction, Chen Mo decisively bought it. Next, Chen Mo saw another kind of elixir that amazed him. Baikyo Den, a first-class elixir, with a 100-year-old spirit plant fairy grass as the main ingredient, extracting its 100-year-old spiritual energy and supplementing it with a top-grade secret medicine. It was made by Dan Chenzi, a top-level third-level alchemy master on Blue Star, after 49 days of practice. This elixir is a top-quality divine medicine for the inner energy realm and can be taken repeatedly. 10 Baikyo Dan pills can break through the inner realm by one small level, and 40 pills can break through the inner energy perfection. Price? 3,000 spirit coins pill. Fuck. Seeing this, Chen Mo was amazed in his heart. What a great elixir, except for being expensive, everything is good. And it is also produced by a third-level alchemy master. One pill costs 3,000 spirit coins, and 40 pills are only 120,000 spirit coins. I have money now, I can afford it. Chen Mo thought happily. I thought that the inner energy realm would take him some time, but now it seems that the inner energy realm will be the realm he will break through the fastest. The final exam will be in 5 days. The Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste that Su Cheng prepared to reward the most improved student is already in his pocket. Although with his current financial resources, a Tiger Demon Bone Forging Paste worth 5,000 spirit coins is nothing. But for his parents, they have to work day and night for 1 or 2 months to afford it. Don't miss the reward for free. Soon, Chen Mo bought 40 Baikyo pills and ice palm at one time and left Wanbao Pavilion with a gift of Wanbao Pavilion director Gong Yu. After leaving Wanbao Pavilion, Chen Mo refused Zhou Yan's plan to invite him to dinner with great gratitude. He was already impatient to break through the inner energy realm. The next period will be a rapid outbreak of strength. What Liu Hai, Li Wu, Song Yihan, these so-called geniuses will become little Karami. Saying goodbye to Zhou Yan, it was not yet night. Chen Mo hurried back home, hid the herb pill, and took out the ice palm he had just bought to study. The ice palm was recorded on a roll of unknown animal leather, which was engraved with tiny ancient seal characters. Chen Mo had learned this kind of seal characters in Chinese class, and it didn't take long for him to decipher the entire exercise method with tens of thousands of words. But there was a problem. Chen Mo searched through the leather of the exercise method but couldn't find the divine will visualization diagram mentioned by the system. The system would not make mistakes. Chen Mo pondered, but he just didn't find a way. Forget it, let's make a wish. Make a wish. I want to know how to decipher the divine will visualization diagram hidden in ice palm. As soon as Chen Mo finished speaking, suddenly, he felt an inexplicable suffocation in his body, and then his head became very heavy. Oh no, the wish failed. This damn fatigue came again. Chen Mo instantly emptied his mind of thoughts. After a while, when his mind was clearer, he got up and took a glass of ice water to drink, and then he felt a little better. This can be said to be the only drawback of the system. I don't know when the next wish will fail. Chen Mo guessed that if he quickly improved his strength and mental strength, he might be able to make wishes for longer. At 5:50 p.m., Chen Mo carefully put away the ice palm on the table and began to sit and rest. The failure of this wish did not affect his mood. He would wait until he broke through the inner energy realm tonight. Anyway, he would study the ice palm after his spirit recovered in 2 days. Time passed slowly. In a blink of an eye, it was more than 7 o'clock in the evening. At this time, the sky had completely turned dark. Chen Mo got up and followed the instructions of the previous route, one to the south of Zigu Mountain in Jiangcheng. Zigu Mountain is a natural mountain in the suburbs of Jiangcheng City. It is about 18 kilometers away from Chen Mo's home. However, with his current strength and speed, it would only take about an hour to walk there. Chen Mo was ready to walk there. But not long after Chen Mo went out, he suddenly realized that there was a metal dog the size of a teacup with gray-black all over its body following him. Robotic Dog. Chapter 18 Inner Key Realm. This is a Zeuxin technology dog specially used by Blue Star for searching, exploring, tracking, and monitoring. It looks exactly like a real dog. There is a tracking array in its body. As long as it obtains a trace of the other party's item smell, it can accurately find the enemy's trace within a certain range and monitor it. The 2 eyes of the mechanical dog are camera probes, and they also have the function of uploading to the network and storing. Moreover, this type of mechanical dog moves very fast. As long as it is exposed to light for 5 hours a day, it can be used for 5 days. It is one of the most popular Zeuxin technology products on Blue Star. Who is it? Is it Wanbao Pavilion? Because he sold a foundation building pill in the morning, Chen Mo immediately thought whether Wanbao Pavilion leaked the news, or if someone from Wanbao Pavilion wanted to attack him. But thinking of the reputation of Wanbao Pavilion, Chen Mo eliminated his doubts about them in his heart. A force that can do business all over the interstellar world will not deal with him for a small foundation building pill. After thinking for a while, Chen Mo locked his target on Liu Hai. HMPH, it seems that this guy is ready to deal with him for what happened yesterday. Thinking of this guy's usual arrogance, Chen Mo's heart was cold. He originally wanted to practice quietly and enter the university's cultivation department to get the top cultivation method of Blue Star. But if this guy really continues to pester him, he doesn't mind letting him suffer a little, or even completely solve this trouble. You have to know that the soul in Chen Mo's body at this time is not a high school student who is only 16 or 17 years old. Chen Mo pretended not to notice the other party's surveillance and continued to move forward at a normal speed. At the same time, he secretly paid attention to whether there was a corner in front of him that was convenient for attack. With his current perfect bone forging strength, it is difficult to catch up with the speed of the mechanical dog head-on, but as long as he can get close, Chen Mo is absolutely sure to beat this thing with one punch. After a while, Chen Mo found a suitable corner alley. He had an idea in his mind, turned around quickly and hid in the alley, waiting for the mechanical dog to catch up. At this time, the mechanical dog behind continued to move forward along the setting of the breath and came to the corner. Suddenly, Chen Mo's eyes caught the mechanical dog just sticking out half of its body. Chen Mo exerted his strength. Pa! There was a sound of fist force exploding in the air. Chen Mo's right-hand muscles were tense like a dragon, and the blood and ki in his body were swinging like steel bars. Bang! There was a muffled sound. Chen Mo bent down and punched the mechanical dog's head directly. Instantly, the mechanical dog's head was flattened. With a burst of thunderbolt explosions, this mechanical dog was completely scrapped. Humph, no matter who you are, since you dare to attack me, just wait for me to settle accounts. Chen Mo silently picked up the flattened mechanical dog, turned it over, took a picture of the dog's number with his mobile phone, and sent it to Zhou Yan, asking her to help check it. Each mechanical dog has a unique number. As long as there is a way, you can use this number to find out the factory time, sales channel, and even who bought and used this mechanical dog. With Chen Mo's relationship with Zhou Yan at this time, she received the call and was very willing to help. After handling this small matter, after a short while, Chen Mo found this wild sunflower on the south side of the valley mountain. This is a cluster of sunflower plants about 2 meters high and dozens of square meters wide. The shape is no different from the sunflowers in Chen Mo's memory, the only change is, usually sunflowers have green leaves and yellow flowers that bloom towards the sun. The sunflowers here have green leaves and blue flowers that bloom towards the moon. Wild sunflowers are mutated from the immortal plants of Mars. They have flowers but no fruits and grow by absorbing the air of the cold moon. They bloom at night. When the flower disk blooms and absorbs the air of the cold moon, it will emit the refined extreme yin air cold moon essence. After absorbing and refining, it can break through the inner energy realm at 100 times the speed sunflowers come from. Recalling the previous introduction of the system about this mutant sunflower, Chen Mo was excited. It is really amazing how the world changes. I didn't expect that sunflowers also have blue flower discs. One absorbs the positive yang energy towards the sun, and the other absorbs the cold yin energy towards the moon. It can be said to be polarized, one yin and one yang. In his opinion, the mutated sunflower should be called the moon sunflower, which is more appropriate. Today is the 15th, when the full moon is the brightest. The night sky was clear and cloudless, with stars dotted everywhere. A trace of cold air was shrouding the cold moon. At this time, the blue sunflower buds were blooming one after another facing the cold moon in the sky, swaying their bodies and breathing in the cold moon air in the sky. A trace of excitement flashed in Chen Mo's eyes. He quickly looked down and saw that there was no one around, so Chen Mo excitedly stepped into the sunflower bushes. The most yin energy cold moon essence. Here I come. Break through an internal energy tonight. Chen Mo entered the sunflower bushes, quickly sat down and began to activate the fourth level of the internal energy realm according to the 108 body tempering techniques. The more than 2-meter-high bushes completely obscured Chen Mo's figure, and no one could see him. Sure enough, with Chen Mo's unique breathing frequency, Chen Mo felt a trace of cool cold moon air in the world. In addition to the cold moon air, there were also wisps of cold moon essence around him that were breathed out from the sunflower disk, which was even colder than that. These cold moon essences are more than 100 times more dense than the cold moon energy, and touching them gives him a very cold and refreshing effect. Even the fatigue after his failed wish seemed to be restored a little bit. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Chen Mo quickly adjusted his state and began to capture the cold moon essence around him through breathing. Gradually, the few strands of cold moon essence ore closest to him were sucked into his mouth. Well, a cool feeling came. The ore entered and quickly and quietly penetrated into his body. At this time, the blood and ki power in his body, which had been suppressed for a long time, suddenly boiled like water falling into a boiling oil pan. The cold moon essence entered the body, and the rich blood and ki in Chen Mo's body rushed to wrap those strands of aura and began to refine them. There are 5 levels of body forging: skin refining, flesh refining, bone refining, internal ki, and innate. The internal ki level is to refine blood and ki, or refine the external aura to produce internal ki, so as to open up the ki channels in the body. When one reaches a deep level of cultivation, the true ki in the body can attach to weapons, or even leave the body to attack. This is the realm of the martial arts masters in ancient martial arts. Picking leaves and flying flowers can hurt people. At this time, the martial arts value has increased exponentially, gradually becoming extraordinary. Thinking about the key points of martial arts cultivation, the blood and ki in the body refine the cold moon essence, and time passes slowly. Strands of blood and ki power wrap the cold moon essence from the beginning of mutual blending, and then slowly refined and absorbed. The cold moon essence is like a spiritual medicine, leading the blood and ki power in the body to a higher level of change. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Strands of cold moon essence kept pouring into Chen Mo's mouth and nose. The speed of refining blood and ki in the body is getting faster and faster. I don't know how long it took. Suddenly, Chen Mo noticed that there was a stream of internal ki controlled by his mind. This strand of internal ki was like the mother ki of all things in his body, and it quickly began to grow and differentiate. Breakthrough. Internal ki realm. Chen Mo's eyes suddenly lit up. I'm a newbie, please collect and read my novel. Dear big brothers, please don't keep reading my novel. Please turn to the last page of the updated novel every day. I feel so sorry for the little newbie. Keeping reading my novel will really kill me. Chapter 19, The Glacier Map. Finally I have broken through the inner ki realm. After 5 days of traveling, he crossed 3 small realms and 1 large realm, breaking through from the middle stage of bone forging to the inner ki realm. Chen Mo's eyes flashed with determination and excitement. In the inner ki realm, he can get a full score of 100 in the college entrance examination realm column. If he breaks through the innate birth of immortal bones, he can also obtain additional qualifications and components. As his realm improves, his mental power will also become stronger rapidly, and his academic performance will continue to improve by leaps and bounds. Up to now, Chen Mo has been completely confident that he will exceed the 810 points in the college entrance examination. Next, Chen Mo's goal is to aim at the first Starry Sky University on Blue Star and obtain the top immortal cultivation method on Blue Star. Mortals should not dream of the Starry Sky. If you ascend to the Starry Sky, you will become a dragon. Chen Mo believes that he can definitely achieve it. With a breakthrough of the inner ki realm, Chen Mo's inner thoughts have become more and more determined. After refining the inner ki, Chen Mo continued to sit cross-legged in the flowers and refine the surrounding cold moon essence. Now it is still a process of strengthening the internal energy. When the internal energy in the body condenses to the thickness of a chopstick, it is time to completely stabilize the initial stage of internal energy. Then Chen Mo can take the 100 herbs pill to quickly improve his cultivation and break the 108 cycles of 129,600 energy channels in his body. The moon is bright and the stars are sparse. The sound of insects in the mountains can be heard in the quiet valley. The cool night breeze blows the leaves on the sunflower stems, gently patting his face and bringing him a hint of coolness. Let him sink into the state of cultivation more and more quietly. The sun rises and the moon sets, and the night gradually passes. As Chen Mo refined the last ray of cold moon essence, He was surprised to find that the internal energy in his body had reached the thickness of chopsticks as expected. It is indeed worthy of being the extreme yin energy cold moon essence, which is really 100 times faster breakthrough. Spirit is full and the air is clear. Even the mental fatigue has been restored. A ray of brilliance flashed in Chen Mo's eyes, and he stood up and left the flowers. "Thank you so much for helping me break through tonight," Chen Mo whispered to the sunflower bushes as he left. "Everything has a spirit, and a fate is worth his thanks." After saying that, Chen Mo got up and left the valley mountain. In the next few days, he planned to comprehend the artistic conception and take the 100 herbs pill to start a crazy breakthrough. When Chen Mo came to a bamboo forest at the foot of the mountain, he suddenly felt an impulse in his heart and wanted to try the changes in his inner ki realm. Pick leaves and fly flowers. Use ki to resist the enemy. Give it a try. After reading it, Chen Mo couldn't help but pick a bamboo leaf, mobilize the inner ki in his body that was full of cold air to attach it to the bamboo leaf, and flicked his finger. Suddenly, condense ki into ice. A trace of frost suddenly appeared on a soft and slender leaf, and it turned into a sharp and cold bamboo leaf that shot forward like an arrow. Chi. A sharp sound of breaking through the air sounded. The bamboo leaf instantly pierced through 2 bamboos, and in an instant it pierced through a drop of morning dew, splitting it in half, and finally sinking into the belly of a tree. This is the legendary inner family true ki. Picking leaves can hurt people. It's really powerful. Chen Mo looked at the trace of frost left on his hand and couldn't help but wonder. Especially the inner ki transformed from the extreme yin ki of the cold moon essence he refined, which added a trace of frost attribute to the inner ki. Seeing this, Chen Mo was very surprised. If this inner ki is combined with the storm sword intent, it will be a sword with cold light and frost. I'm afraid that the power of the storm sword technique can be used by him to feel the super level sword technique. But Chen Mo didn't care too much about it. No matter how powerful the inner ki realm is, it is only a martial arts realm. All this is just an accumulation for the birth of the first great immortal bone. Only when the first great immortal bone is born can he start to step into the road of immortal cultivation. Chen Mo put away some thoughts in his mind and left this place quietly. Half a day later. Make a wish. I want to know how to decipher the divine will visualization diagram hidden in ice palm. As Chen Mo's thoughts fell, a stream of information instantly rushed into Chen Mo's mind, and the handwriting flashed and emerged into his consciousness. This world is analyzing information, and the wish is being analyzed. Wish analysis. Way 1. Use rootless water, rain, snow, frost, dew, hail. Choose 1. Soak the animal skin roll for a day and a night, and then use a 100-year fire to smoke it for 1 hour to reveal the divine will visualization diagram. Way 2. Use 5 groundwater, spring water, river water, lake water, well water. Choose 1. Soak the animal skin roll for a day and a night, and then use a 100-year fire to smoke it for 1 hour to reveal the divine will visualization diagram. Way 3. Go to the Yaochuan mansion of the Blood Netherworld, cross the Sanchuan River and pass the Wangchuan Terrace. You can ask for a drop of Jiu Iya water, and drop it to reveal the divine will visualization diagram. As the handwriting appeared in his mind, a trace of surprise appeared in Chen Mo's eyes. So that's it. I didn't expect that this divine will visualization map was hidden so deeply that it would only appear after being soaked and smoked with rootless water or 5 earth water. I really don't know what method the ancients used to do it. If he didn't have the system in his hand, I'm afraid this hidden divine will visualization map would never be seen again. It's no wonder that one Bayo Pavilion sold it for 49,000 spirit coins. I'm afraid they didn't know its value and just sold it as a more powerful ancient martial arts technique. The 9 nether water of Path 3 was directly excluded by Chen Mo. It was impossible for him to do it with his current strength. After cracking the secret of the ice palm, Chen Mo immediately began to prepare. It is summer now, and snow, frost, dew, and hail are not easy to get. It hasn't rained for a few days. Chen Mo had to choose Path 2 and went to Miss Hujiang in Jiangcheng to fetch a bucket of groundwater. He first memorized the technique on the ice palm, then soaked the leather in the bucket, then found a small stone in the yard outside to press it in, and waited for a day and a night. After completing this operation, Chen Mo began to look for the century-old firewood. Firewood refers to the firewood used to light the fire. But it is not easy to find century-old firewood in such a short time. Finally, Chen Mo had an idea and found another way. He went to Star Network and ordered a batch of original century-old root carving wood. 1 day later, after soaking for a day and a night, the leather looked unchanged. But Chen Mo was not in a hurry at all. The system had never lied to him. If it did not appear, it must be that the merchants on Star Network sent him fake goods. Chen Mo then lit the century-old root carving wood that arrived yesterday. After a while, a cluster of bright flames lit up. Chen Mo carefully placed the leather of the ice palm on the shelf and slowly smoked it 3 inches above the flame. Time passed by second by second. Chen Mo stared at the leather scroll, waiting for it to show new changes. About half an hour later, suddenly, the leather began to soften and deform slightly. At this moment, a magical scene happened. The small characters originally engraved on it slowly began to twist and deform, and finally gradually turned into a mysterious artistic conception scroll. The divine concept of the vast sea and glacier. 7 large characters in ancient seal script appeared above the scroll. Below was a depiction of a vast ocean, and in the middle of the ocean was a huge, towering glacier, showing an extremely icy, cold, and vast atmosphere. Chen Mo stared at it for a few seconds, and his mind was pulled into the scroll. A mysterious and vast artistic conception of water and ice came to him, as if he was standing in front of the sea and glacier. This is the divine concept of the vast sea and glacier. Chen Mo read excitedly. As the ancients said, the torch is passed on from generation to generation. Chapter 20, Initial Foundation, Crazy Breakthrough. Ice and Water Artistic Conception. Chen Mo now knows more about artistic conception than before. Artistic conception is like an invisible sharp blade. The stronger one's own strength, the greater the power that artistic conception can exert. With the experience of understanding the storm sword meaning before. In Chen Mo's view, artistic conception is like another realm above martial arts, which has long been separated from the martial arts moves themselves. It is a kind of true meaning hidden between heaven and earth. People can achieve harmony and resonance by perceiving these true meanings, such as wind, rain, thunder, lightning, knives, swords, light, darkness, mountains, rivers, water, and fire, and then directly induce the artistic conception power between heaven and earth to attach to themselves and use it for their own benefit. Before, the artistic conception given to him by the black broken sword in Huan's Hun Pavilion was the sharp storm sword prison. Then the vast sea glacier divine intention is to give Chen Mo the vast and endless ice and water artistic conception, the vast and endless sea water, and the extremely cold and frozen extreme ice power. The sea was surging, and the endless water flow connected to the sky. The water and the sky were one color, as if a vast painting was unfolding before our eyes. The deep blue seawater rushed to the shore in waves, splashing waves. In the middle of the sea, an iceberg condensed from white ice blocks stood alone in the middle of the sea, revealing an eternal cold. The sea is heavy water, and the black ice is extremely cold. Both of these powers make people feel awe. But they also give people unlimited imagination. Chen Mo stood in front of the sea, and he seemed to see the endless evolution of some kind of true meaning. Heavy water, extremely cold, condensed, sharp. These are just a few of the artistic conception powers that Chen Mo first comprehended when he visualized the divine intention of the vast sea glacier. Later, he could even comprehend more artistic conception evolutions. Strictly speaking, this is not a single artistic conception. The vast sea shows a kind of artistic conception of water, while the glacier shows a kind of artistic conception of extreme ice. When water is cold, it becomes ice, and when ice melts, it becomes water. Water helps the power of ice, and ice pushes the power of water. The vast power of water and the extreme coldness of ice form this special ice and water artistic conception. Soon, Chen Mo's mind completely sank into the scroll and began to comprehend. The Hanhe Glacier map was like a creation by an immortal, directly extracting the countless evolutions of these two artistic conceptions and clearly displaying them in front of Chen Mo. Chen Mo did not covet more artistic conception changes, but just grasped the inspiration he felt first to comprehend. Heavy water, extreme cold, condensed, sharp. Heavy water is boundless, endless, and invisible. Extremely cold, extremely icy, and extremely condensed. Water can be gathered into ice, and ice can freeze everything, bury the sky, bury the earth, and bury the soul. It can also be transformed into a sharp weapon, condense a knife into a sword, gather a hammer into a bell, master murder, and control killing. Wisps of artistic conception perception kept emerging in his mind. Chen Mo quickly comprehended these perceptions, constantly matching and resonating with the ice and water artistic conception in the divine intention. After an unknown amount of time, Chen Mo finally comprehended a trace of the artistic conception of heavy water and extreme cold, and successfully resonated with it, transforming it into his own artistic conception power. Just as Chen Mo wanted to comprehend further, he suddenly felt a dizzy feeling coming from his head. Immediately afterwards, his mind was forced to exit the scroll. It seems that comprehending the artistic conception consumes a lot of mental consciousness. If you want to quickly strengthen your artistic conception later, you must buy some pills to replenish your spirit. It would be best to find a method to cultivate the spirit. After the mind exited, Chen Mo looked at the unknown leather scroll in his hand, and his eyes flashed with great excitement and excitement. Success. Chen Mo couldn't help but mutter excitedly. Introduction to the artistic conception of ice and water. Introduction to the artistic conception of storm sword. Strictly speaking, he has mastered 3 artistic conceptions, and the 3 artistic conceptions that match each other can be transformed into a special artistic conception later. This undoubtedly accumulated a strong foundation for him to give birth to the first great Immortal Bone again. The storm sword meaning that Chen Mo comprehended can be completely integrated into the artistic conception of ice and water, and Feng Shui is born. According to the Golden Finger, once he has cultivated the artistic conception of ice and water, he can give birth to the first great Immortal Bone as soon as he completes the 108 body tempering techniques and enters the innate realm. First great Immortal Bone. That is a top grade Immortal Bone comparable to a single spiritual root immortal genius. Chen Mo's artistic conception is now much stronger than before. It is expected that the Immortal Bone born at that time will definitely not be weak among the first great Immortal Bones. Now he just needs to break through to the innate realm. No, I can't waste time. I want to continue to break through. Break through. At worst, I will go to the nutrition warehouse to recover later. Cultivation cannot stop, and Chen Mo excitedly decided to continue practicing. Soon, he took out the Baikao pill that he had prepared in advance. Baikao pill is a top-grade divine medicine for the inner energy realm. It is made of the centenary spiritual plant immortal grass as the main ingredient, and its centenary spiritual energy is extracted and supplemented with the above-grade secret medicine. 10 Baikao pills can break through the inner realm by a small level, and 40 pills can break through the inner energy perfection, and can be taken repeatedly. Gudong. As a pill slid into Chen Mo's stomach. Soon the pill melted in Chen Mo's body. A rich aura of hundreds of herbs gathered into purple mist and deeply merged into his body. Suddenly, the internal energy that Chen Mo had originally cultivated and transformed from the essence of the cold moon quickly wrapped around the purple mist and began to absorb and refine it. Not long after, Chen Mo's body was filled with his own rich internal energy, as if the whole person was also injected with new life. He closed his eyes unconsciously and quietly felt the internal energy flowing and surging in his body. Such a pure and strong power made him feel relaxed and happy, as if he could easily break through all restrictions and soar into the sky. Break through now. Open up 108 cycles and 129,600 meridians in your body. Break. As Chen Mo shouted in his heart. Click, click. The sound of bottlenecks breaking through sounded in Chen Mo's body. He focused on a main meridian and opened up the small branches in his body around the main meridian. Under the guidance of Chen Mo's skills, the true energy quickly passed through and flowed, and the blocked meridians were opened one by one, just like small rivers being dredged. The rushing river water flows quickly along the open channel. Whenever the internal ki is insufficient, Chen Mo swallows a Baikao pill into his stomach. The magic of Baikao pill is fully manifested at this moment, continuously supplying him with new internal ki to open up the ki channels in his body. As more and more ki channels are opened in Chen Mo's body, gradually, the sound of waves like a river torrent sounded in his body. Break, break, break. The initial stage of internal ki, the middle stage of the initial stage of internal ki, the peak. Time passed slowly. Chen Mo fell into a crazy practice. When he was tired, he just lay on the bed to rest for a while, and when he woke up, he continued to swallow Baikao pill to practice and break through. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It is worth mentioning that 2 days ago, Zhou Yan called and told him that he had found out that the mechanical dog that followed him last time was instructed by his classmate. After Chen Mo learned that the mechanical dog was instructed by Liu Hai, he immediately understood. However, he did not make any other moves for the time being. After instructing Zhou Yan to continue observing, he put the matter aside. He had to break through now. The fourth day of hard training. In the room where Chen Mo was in seclusion, there was a loud noise. Bang! A surge of true energy suddenly spread out from Chen Mo's body. The true energy left the body. Ha ha ha! I finally broke through to the perfection of the inner energy realm. Today, the author has to drive a long-distance highway to return to his hometown. It is freezing rain here, and the road is blocked by ice and snow. I don't know when I can get home. I am a newbie with a clumsy hand. I will get up early to finish this chapter, and try to catch up with the next chapter. If I can't make it in time, I will make up for it tomorrow. I will not rest during the Chinese New Year. Today, there are 3 more investments and dozens of collections. Thank you very much for your support! Exclamation mark. Every collection and investment can bring endless power and inspiration to the newbie. Come on. Chapter 21, Nourishing Spirit Incense, Looking for the Innate. Chen Mo's eyes were full of light. There was still 1 day left before the final exam, and he finally achieved his wish of achieving the perfection of internal energy. The 108 cycles of 129,600 energy channels in his body were like the precise universe and connected every corner of his body. The strong and surging internal energy flowed in the energy channels in an orderly manner. He felt that he had an endless power all over his body. He even had the illusion that I am invincible below the immortals, and I can exchange 1 for 1 above the immortals. He wanted to fight against the immortals in the internal energy realm with the internal energy realm. Ha ha ha. He realized that there were some dangerous and suicidal thoughts in his mind. Chen Mo quickly suppressed this thought. No, cultivation must be low-key. This dangerous and stupid behavior, Chen Mo, must never commit. Chen Mo, would either not do it or he would be thunderous and overwhelming. After Chen Mo was excited, he quickly adjusted his somewhat inflated mentality. After cleaning up, Chen Mo picked up the phone next to him to see if anyone was calling. In order to focus on his cultivation and breakthrough, he kept his phone on silent mode these days. Apart from telling Chen Yuan a few words in advance, he didn't tell anyone else. Chen Mo took out his jade-thin phone and opened the interface. Hey, 7 missed calls. 1 was from Zhou Yan, and the other 6 were from Wu Yong. What happened? Why did you call him so many times? Chen Mo was a little confused. He remembered that he had told Wu Yong about it when he asked for leave before. So why did so many calls come in? With a hint of doubt, Chen Mo dialed Wu Yong's number. Beep, beep, beep. The phone rang for less than 3 seconds, and Wu Yong's concerned and anxious voice came. Hello, Chen Mo, are you okay? Chen Mo paused and said puzzledly, Nothing, I've been practicing at home these days, and my phone is silent. I just saw so many missed calls from you, and I want to ask if you have anything to talk to me about. SHH. I'm glad you're okay. Wu Yong breathed a sigh of relief on the phone. But he seemed to have thought of something, and asked worriedly, Did nothing really happen to you? Hearing this, Chen Mo's doubts became even more. What happened to Wu Yong? Should I be in trouble? Seeing that Chen Mo seemed to be really safe and sound, Wu Yong explained slowly, It's like this. The dispute between you and Liu Hai in the library a few days ago was reported. The shoe seller was angry and was looking for you like crazy, saying that he wanted to settle the score with you. 2 days ago, he forced me to ask about your whereabouts. Even some classmates who have a slightly better relationship with us have been bullied by him. I'm afraid that something will happen to you, so I want to remind you to stay at home these days and don't come to school. I see. Hearing this, Chen Mo's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. Wu Yong, you are okay? After listening to Wu Yong's explanation, Chen Mo said with some concern. It's nothing serious. I've been staying in school these days. That bastard doesn't dare to do anything to me. Chen Mo nodded and didn't ask more questions on the phone. Okay, then you be careful. See you at the final exam the day after tomorrow. After hanging up the phone, Chen Mo gritted his teeth and snorted coldly. Liu Hai. Obviously, the matter was not as simple as Wu Yong said. With Liu Hai's arrogant and domineering style in the past, it would not be in line with his image if he didn't bully some classmates to establish his power after losing so much face last time. First, he used the mechanical dog to monitor and track him, and then bullied his classmates to ask about his whereabouts. This man is already on the road to death. Then, Chen Mo called Zhou Yan again. After the communication, Chen Mo realized that Zhou Yan wanted to see if there was anything she could help with. Obviously, this trip to the market made Zhou Yan a fortune, and she had already planned to tie Chen Mo's thigh completely. Chen Mo did not refuse. He also planned to find a group of reliable people to work for him. So after a communication, Chen Mo told Zhou Yan to find a way to buy back the broken sword in Huan's Hun Pavilion at the lowest price. The broken sword was something he must get. With a sword in hand, in addition to being able to continue to comprehend the storm sword intent inside, Chen Mo felt that in order to quickly expand his artistic conception, in addition to improving his spirit and strengthening his divine will, constantly comprehending the artistic conception map is also a shortcut to improve the artistic conception. Even Chen Mo can use the broken sword as a spiritual tool to continuously cultivate sword masters. For example, Wu Yong and his younger sister Chen Yuan both had time to comprehend the storm sword intent. In this way, their hope of giving birth to high-quality immortal bones will be greater. After telling Zhou Yan, Chen Mo went out to Wanbao Pavilion. He spent 10,000 spirit coins to buy 10 nourishing incense sticks, and then purchased a batch of blood and key pills and basic cultivation materials. The nourishing incense is a secret medicine incense recipe inherited from Buddhist relics that he learned from the library. The nourishing incense is made of dozens of secret medicines such as Anshan wood, Xian Bailey, Lingmian Jujube, Di Shui Lian, Lingcha ash, etc., which are steamed and boiled 9 times, and then dried and tanned. When it is lit, wisps of white spiritual smoke arise, and a faint Zen fragrance floats out, with a sense of tranquility. Whether it is a warrior or a cultivator, inhaling it has the magical effect of nourishing the mind and concentrating the mind. Especially when practicing visualization, lighting a nourishing incense next to it can achieve twice the result with half the effort when meditating. The day after tomorrow is the final exam of the second year of high school. Chen Mo cannot break through to the Xiantian realm in a few days. Because the Xiantian realm is the last realm of martial arts, it is also called the Xiantian Master, or the Blood Refining Master. The Xiantian realm needs to use the perfect internal energy in the body to sense the sky gate above the head, and use the internal energy to break the sky gate to connect the heaven and the earth. Make the flesh and the heaven and the earth form a closed loop. Once the internal energy and spirit are not full and condensed, it is easy to fail to break the gate and suffer serious injuries. After breaking the sky gate, the internal energy in the body will be transformed into the innate true energy, which is endless. Therefore, it is called the Xiantian Master. But 108 body tempering techniques is different. After breaking the sky gate, the 108 body tempering techniques also need to be refined. Only after 5 blood refinings and marrow washing and blood exchange can one completely shed the mortal body and produce immortal bones from the body, allowing people to continue on the road of cultivating immortals. Therefore, he is also called the Master of Blood Refining. And a crucial link in this is artistic conception. Artistic conception is a kind of true meaning hidden between heaven and earth. After a person comprehends the true meaning between heaven and earth, when he breaks through the gate of heaven and breaks through to the innate realm, he will gather the majestic true meaning between heaven and earth into the body to help the body to be refined and transformed. If one does not comprehend the artistic conception, he can only rely on his own ordinary true key to cleanse, and cannot reach the artistic conception of Tao. Therefore, the quality of the immortal bones born is generally ordinary immortal bones of the 4th or 5th grade. The upper limit is at most the level of 4 or 5 spiritual roots. It can be said that the deeper and higher the artistic conception of comprehension, the greater the probability of the birth of the 1st grade immortal bones. Chen Mo roughly flashed through the requirements for breaking through the innate realm in the 5th level of 108 Dao tempering body art. In the innate realm, Chen Mo had to wait until he was fully prepared. In the next 2 days, Chen Mo is preparing to cultivate his spiritual will and contemplate, while working hard on his academic performance. He will improve both his academic performance in martial arts to compete for more resources and points in the school. And he will wait until the actual combat class of the final exam the day after tomorrow. He believes that Liu Hai will definitely find him for a fight. This time, Chen Mo will completely crush him in terms of performance and strength to avenge the old grudge. Let's see what qualifications he has to be domineering. He returned home smoothly in the afternoon and continued to update. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Final Exam. Half a day later. On the platform in Chen Mo's room, On the left side were piled books on Chinese, knowledge of skills, cultivation, mathematics, mathematical theory, array calculation, science, mechanical principles, development, application, and 6 arts, foundation of 6 arts of cultivation, miscellaneous studies. On the right side, a yellowish-brown incense stick about 2 feet tall and as thick as a baby's arm was slowly burning. Wisps of white spiritual smoke floated in the room and exuded a faint Zen fragrance. Chen Mo casually took out a Chinese book and began to study seriously. In this peaceful and stable meditation, Chen Mo felt that his mind had never been as clear as it was now. Some of the difficulties in cultivation that he had encountered in the Chinese class in the past became simple at this moment, just like a top-level sage scholar carefully explaining it in his ear. One by one, he quickly understood the difficulties. Chinese, mathematics, science, 6 arts. 1 field, 1 course. Time passed like a trickle. But Chen Mo's learning speed was getting faster and faster. Of course, he doesn't need to learn from beginning to end now, but to check for omissions and fill in the gaps, and only review the knowledge that he had doubts about in the past. Direct jump-style learning. Especially with the help of the nourishing incense. With the double blessing of the perfect state of internal energy and the spirit after the burst of the true meaning, Chen Mo's cultural achievements and knowledge improved rapidly at this moment. However, his luxury level is comparable to the children of the top rich people in Jiangcheng. Others are reluctant to use the nourishing incense to comprehend the true meaning, but he not only uses it to comprehend the artistic conception, but also uses it for ordinary learning. 10 nourishing incense cost him 10,000 spirit coins, which is 100 low-grade spirit stones. 1 stick of incense is 10 spirit stones, and 1 stick of incense can only be used for 1 hour. If Wu Yuang saw this, he would be amazed. Master, you are not burning incense, you are burning spirit stones. But he didn't feel any heartache about it. Money is just money if it is not converted into strength. After a day and a night of study, Chen Mo not only strengthened and stabilized the ice-water realm to the level of beginners, but also solved all the difficulties in several cultural performance courses. Tomorrow's exam, Chen Mo is confident that his score will be directly in the top 5. This is the effect of Krypton Gold. The next day, with everything ready, Chen Mo came to the school to take this term's final exam. At this time, Chen Mo's martial arts realm is perfect. He has mastered the storm sword. He has mastered the ice-water realm. He has mastered 99% of the cultural performance. He is looking forward to the next exam. When he came to the school classroom, Chen Mo soon saw Wu Yong sitting in a corner of the classroom by the window. After the two greeted each other, Chen Mo quickly found a seat next to him and sat down, waiting for the exam. But at this moment, Chen Mo suddenly noticed that the left half of Wu Yong's face was swollen and dark blue. Chen Mo's eyes suddenly turned cold, and a cold breath suddenly emanated from him. What's going on? Who hit you? Chen Mo stared at Wu Yong's left face and shouted coldly. As the saying goes, don't hit someone in the face, and don't expose someone's shortcomings when scolding him. With Wu Yong's cultivation in the flesh refining realm, ordinary flesh wounds would heal in half a day at most under the nourishment of qi and blood, but the wound on his face was already a bone-injuring injury. Without the help of external forces, it would take Wu Yong at least a week to recover. Wu Yong's face was beaten like this. It was no longer a beating, it was a complete trampling of Wu Yong's face and dignity. And everyone in the class knew that Wu Yong and Chen Mo were close brothers. In fact, beating Wu Yong was also beating Chen Mo. Hearing Chen Mo's angry question, Wu Yong blocked his cheek a little embarrassedly, and said embarrassedly, "It's okay, I accidentally fell." Obviously, Wu Yong didn't want Chen Mo to cause trouble. As a brother, he knew Chen Mo's character very well. Either don't fight, or if you really fight, no matter whether you can win or not, you must bite off 3 or 2 pieces of flesh from the other party. Chen Mo looked at Wu Yong, who was still holding on, and immediately asked angrily, "You said you were fine, but you're injured like this. Tell me, was it that beast Liu Hai who did it?" After saying that, Chen Mo turned around and looked at Liu Hai, who was sitting at the front of the classroom with cold eyes. At this time, Liu Hai seemed to know that Chen Mo was looking at him, and deliberately turned around, staring at Chen Mo with hatred, and made a gesture of reaching out to cut Chen Mo's throat. Looking at the other party's provocative gesture, Chen Mo ignored it and turned to look at Wu Yong. Seeing this scene, Wu Yong obviously knew that he could not hide it anymore. He nodded timidly and whispered, "It was this guy." Chen Mo nodded silently and asked, Did you tell the school's security department? Wu Yong nodded first, then shook his head. He said angrily, the teacher Duan from the security department said that there was no evidence and he couldn't do anything about it. Duan Xiangfan. Chen Mo muttered silently and added another name in his mind, but his face became darker and darker. The Duan guy must be sitting on the wrong side of the chair. Such a serious and vicious bullying incident, but they just said there was no evidence and they could just let it go. Looking at the anger on Chen Mo's face, Wu Yong said worriedly, Chen Mo, don't make trouble. Liu Hai is in the inner energy perfection realm, and his father is also a well-known and powerful figure in Jiangchen. We can't beat him. Forget it, just consider it as a loss for us, and we will get revenge when we have a chance in the future. Humph, inner energy realm, is it very strong? Chen Mo snorted in his heart, turned his head to look at Wu Yong's frustrated face, patted his shoulder gently, and comforted him, don't worry, I'll take care of everything, this matter is not a big deal. After saying that, without waiting for Wu Yong to refuse, Chen Mo took out a bottle of qi and blood pills from his arms and handed it to Wu Yong. This is a qi and blood pill, used to increase the qi and blood in the body, and has a very significant effect on the skin and flesh refining realms. After the exam today, you can take it back and use it with confidence. If you are lucky, you can not only heal the wound on your face, but also barely advance to the early stage of bone refining before the actual combat assessment. Wu Yong stared at the bottle of pills that suddenly appeared in front of him. He couldn't help but exclaimed in a low voice. Qi and blood pill. I heard that one pill costs 1,000 spirit coins. Where did you get such a precious thing? Chen Mo shook his head. Don't worry about it, just remember to use it when you go back. Wu Yong took the pill bottle and carefully uncorked it, smelling it with some excitement and curiosity. After seeing what the qi and blood pill looked like, Wu Yong hurriedly shook his head and pushed the pill to Chen Mo. No, I can't take such a valuable thing, you can keep it for yourself. Chen Mo met Wu Yong's eyes and said firmly. It's my brother's, so keep it. Do I need you to give it to me? After saying that, Chen Mo hesitated for a moment and explained again. I have another opportunity myself. After saying that, Chen Mo sat up straight, turned his head and stared at Liu Hai with a gloomy face. Wu Yong saw the determination flashing in Chen Mo's eyes, hesitated for a moment, and then carefully put away the pill. At the same time, he was silently swearing in his heart. He must work harder. He felt that Chen Mo seemed to have become much stronger after not seeing him for a few days. And he became more and more mysterious, even giving away precious pills such as qi and blood pills. He must work hard to catch up with Chen Mo's pace, and never let down Chen Mo's help and embarrass him. Ding-ling-ling at this moment, the class bell rang. The invigilator walked into the classroom on time, holding a handful of test papers in his hand and started the final exam of this semester. Chapter 23, 9 Strategies for Peace. Immortal Cultivation High School Exam. The Chinese part involves knowledge of cultivation techniques, and one must be familiar with professional terms such as strengthening techniques and ore operation. The mathematics part examines array calculations and masters mathematical theories such as the 7-star array. The science part examines the principles, development and application of mechas for cultivation, and thoroughly understands the structure and power mode of mechas, rune spirit cannons, or aerospace warships, etc., as well as the key points of using hot weapons on the battlefield against the enemy. The 6 arts course examines the basic knowledge of the 6 skills of alchemy, refining, talisman making, array formation, spiritual plants, and beast control, such as spiritual plant identification, planting, care, collection, convergence, rune understanding and depiction, using questions one by one to pass under Chen Mo's pen. This is completely different from his last mock exam process. Chen Mo's fingers quickly wrote the answers on the test paper, showing his amazing mastery of knowledge. Even Wu Yong, the academic master sitting next to Chen Mo, couldn't help but be surprised. Such a fast answering speed, even he can't do it that fast. Does Chen Mo really know the answer or is he just writing it randomly? Chen Mo was not distracted by anything else at this time, and was concentrating on answering the questions. Writing like a god. The day passed quickly in the tense atmosphere. There was only one Chinese test left in the afternoon. After answering the previous questions, Chen Mo saw a policy question. How can the Blue Star world quell the strong attack of the Blood Nether realm and make the Blue Star civilization stand in this 9th level immortal cultivation world? His brows frowned slightly. In the 2 years of high school, He had never seen such a question in the exam. In theory, such a question is far from being something that high school students who have not really set foot in the immortal cultivation world can set foot in. But now it appears on the high school test paper. Chen Mo's sole memory is not that of a simple high school student. Seeing the big picture from the small details, Chen Mo can see the leopard from the tube from this question. I'm afraid that the current Blue Star's battle in the Blood Nether realm is very pessimistic. Otherwise, the federal education would not have put such a question on the high school test paper. The Federation's consideration is obviously not to expect these children in the key training period of the martial arts realm to come up with any excellent solutions. Instead, it is to let the new generation of Blue Star have a sense of war from an early age, adapt to and understand the future world crisis. In addition, the policy topic is the collision of thoughts and wisdom. It is possible that a genius student will come up with a top-level policy to inspire the inspiration of the top leaders. In ancient times, Du Fu wrote poems at the age of 7, and Gan Luo was the prime minister of Qin at the age of 7. In today's ultra-modern civilization, it is not impossible for students to come up with a heaven-defying policy. Policy topics rely on everyone's thinking wisdom, not hard knowledge in books. Chen Mo hesitated slightly when he saw the topic. Soon, all kinds of thoughts about low-level cultivators wanting to climb to the high-level world emerged in his mind one by one. Start writing. Answer: on the battle of the Blood Underworld, I have 9 strategies to pacify it, which can also be called the 9 strategies for pacifying the sky. 1 strategy: explore your own potential and improve your strength. Blue Star should expand the relevant rights and restrictions of resource skills to open up the people's wisdom. If they want to go outward, they should also go inward and kill all the greedy people. 1 sword cuts off the termites, and 1 sword cuts off the enemy. Ask the blue sword to the universe and cut off all the injustices in the world. Only in this way can we thoroughly discover the potential of Blue Star itself. The lower limit determines the upper limit, and the upper limit determines the highest. The stronger the number of grassroots on Blue Star, the easier it is to produce top masters, and the stronger the overall strength. Second strategy: make friends with masters and form alliances. Their enemies are heroes. Our Blue Star world should learn the strategy of vertical and horizontal alliances, win over the interstellar world, learn from each other and form alliances. Third strategy: understand the weaknesses of high-level immortal cultivators in the Blood Nether world to plan for a region. Everyone has weaknesses. This is true for humans, immortals, and immortal sects. Those who do not plan for eternity are not qualified to plan for the moment. Those who do not plan for the overall situation are not qualified to plan for a region. Fourth strategy: master combat skills and improve fighting spirit. If you want to borrow the power of the people, you must first benefit the people, lift a ban on secret arts, give everyone a copy of the secret art of war cultivation, treat those who fight preferentially, be truly fair and just, so that those who fight have no worries, cook oil with the raging fire, use the will of the world as firewood, and ignite the supreme fighting spirit. 5 strategies: master magic and use attack to control defense. Use the magic skills of the 9 heavens, take advantage of the situation, take advantage of others' deficiencies and make up for their surpluses. Everyone can get the skills that suit them, and those who are good at attacking must be good at defending. 6th strategy: search for magic weapons and upgrade equipment. Search the 9 heavens ruins and break them, collect thousands of magic weapons and immortal materials, forge the unique hot weapons of immortal cultivation on Blue Star, and make them play to the extreme. 7th strategy: recruit guests and expand the lineup. Recruit casual cultivators and interstellar wanderers as guests to strengthen the top combat power of Blue Star. 8th strategy: discover mysterious power and increase deterrence. Research and improve the power of combining immortal cultivation with nuclear bombs. There is nothing that cannot be solved by 1 bullet. If 1 bullet doesn't work, then 10,000 bullets will be fired at the same time to destroy the sect and the world. If my Blue Star is dead, who cares about the floods? 9 strategies: patient accumulation and waiting for the opportunity. Facing the power of the high-level world, sometimes only a protracted war can gain a foothold in the high-level world, and make decisions according to the situation and strength. With the outline of the 9 major strategies, Chen Mo then wrote several thousand words to elaborate on the ravines in his heart. An hour later, Chen Mo stopped writing. Hush, the exam is finally over. Looking at the neatly written answer sheet on the table, Chen Mo showed a satisfied look on his face. In answering this exam, he basically did not encounter any difficult questions, And with the last strategy, Chen Mo is confident that this time he can get into the top 5. Next is tomorrow's realm test and actual combat assessment. After answering the paper, Chen Mo roughly checked it, and after finding no problems, he handed in the paper and left the classroom. After handing in the paper, Chen Mo went to the school library to check the application requirements for the research room. There are several ways to establish your own power on Blue Star. One is to apply for your own research room or register a company, family, when you reach the key training stage. The second is to directly apply to establish a sect, but the application threshold for the sect is very high, with many conditions and restrictions, which Chen Mo directly ruled out. Chen Mo is now considering applying for his own research room first. He has a golden finger and can get a lot of immortal treasures at any time. Having his own laboratory can better explain and use it to the outside world. Like Wu Yong and Zhou Yan, Chen Mo is preparing to get his own laboratory. He and Zhou Yan had a preliminary discussion on this idea before, and now he just asked Zhou Yan to do some preparatory work. After the cultural results were finished, Wu Yong greeted Chen Mo and entered the library training room to use the key and blood pill to start practicing desperately. Chen Mo stayed in the library to study. It was evening. Jiangcheng High School Circle did not know who started to circulate the 9 strategies for peaceful heaven. 9 strategies for peaceful heaven. Some people think that the students who wrote this strategy is bold, arrogant, ignorant, and actually named it Pingshan. Some people think that this essay is very well written, and it dares to think beyond the ordinary people's thoughts, so it should be given full marks. Some people think that this essay is an essay on the surface, but it actually has a specific purpose. The sentence "ask the blue sword to the world, and kill all the injustices in the world," is enough to prove that there are evil thoughts in this life, and there is a rebellious head, which needs to be suppressed. For a time, some people supported and some opposed, and the discussion about 9 strategies for peace instantly spread on the internet. Chen Mo, on the other hand, did not care about what was happening outside the window, and only focused on studying in the library. 9 strategies for peace was just a question he encountered, and he wrote it down at the moment. He cultivated his immortality, so why should he care about other people's opinions? Chapter 24 Genius Chen Mo. The next day, on the playground of Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School, the second-year students of 3 classes were preparing for the realm test. There was a row of realm test instruments in front of the playground. The test subjects only needed to put all their strength on the tester, and the test results would be displayed. Everyone had 2 test opportunities. At this time, everyone had a solemn face, hoping for a good result. They wanted to get the same resources as other outstanding students, so they could only work hard and fight hard. This final exam was the time to test their results. The test began. Everyone carefully observed the numbers on the large screen connected to the tester. The teachers who maintained the test of Class 2 were the head teacher Su Chang and the cold weapon teacher Han Feng. Teacher Su, I wonder how the test went for Class 2 this time. I heard that several students in Class 1 broke through to the Xianshan realm a few days ago. There are even more than 20 people in the inner key realm. Su Cheng looked up at the students in his class on the playground and said with a little confidence, "Not bad." In addition to Song Yihan, Li Wu from our class also broke through to the Xianshan realm 2 days ago. And Liu Hai and Yu Pu have also broken through to the perfect inner key realm. There are 7 or 8 other people in the inner key realm. Han Feng nodded after listening and praised, "There are 2 Xianshans, which is indeed not bad. But there is still a big gap with Class 1. It would be better if there were more Xianshans. If you can break through to the Xianshan realm before the end of the 2nd year of high school, there is a great chance that high-quality immortal bones will be born in the 3rd year of high school. In this way, in a few decades, we can add a group of new living forces to the battlefield of the alien world." After saying this, Han Feng's eyes showed a trace of anxiety and worry. He was originally a retired soldier in the battlefield of the alien world, so he naturally knew that the situation on the battlefield was now urgent. Especially for the foundation building of the 2nd echelon, the golden elixir cultivators were already a bit short of successors. But Su Chang, who heard this, felt a little uncomfortable. It sounded as if he didn't know how to teach students. He frowned slightly and said coldly, "Teacher Han, how can you compare Class 1 with Class 2? Class 1 itself selects the best students of this year, and it is normal to have the current situation. If we really talk about progress, my Class 2 is the most hardworking and most improved student." After saying that, He turned his eyes and began to pay attention to the test of the students off the court. Yes, Teacher Su, you misunderstood me. I didn't mean to belittle our class too. I'm worried about the current situation on the battlefield in the other world. Hearing this, Han Feng explained with a little embarrassment. Su Cheng heard the explanation, nodded, and responded casually. Yes. For a while, the atmosphere between the two people on the field was a little cold. But Han Feng didn't care too much. He was a rough man on the battlefield, always straightforward, and didn't think too much about what he said and did. At this time, dull collisions kept coming from the field. Bang, 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 one after another. Powerful punches hit the realm tester one after another. Chen Zhao, Bone Refining Realm. Liu Zhi, Late Internal Key. Su Song, Late Flesh Refining Realm. Zheng Yan, Middle Bone Refining Realm. Wu Yuang, Early Bone Refining Realm. Test results quickly appeared on the screen in the playground. Huh? Wu Yuang is actually in the early bone refining stage. Su Cheng saw Wu Yuang's test results on the screen, which was a completely unexpected surprise. Not bad. Su Cheng praised in her low voice, and his expression instantly became much better. You know, he has always been paying attention to Wu Yuang, a top student in academic performance. As long as Wu Yuang can make a breakthrough in martial arts in the third semester of high school, it is almost certain that he will go to college to study Taoism. Hearing Su Cheng's praise, Han Feng turned his head and looked over. He just noticed Chen Mo standing behind Wu Yuang waiting for the test, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Chen Mo, the genius who comprehended the sword. Thinking of this, he hurriedly asked, Teacher Su, how is the genius Chen Mo in your class doing? Why haven't I seen him come to class in the past few days? Su Cheng turned his head and glanced at Han Feng indifferently. Why did Han Feng always talk about things that were not related to the topic today? Genius, Chen Mo. He is just an ordinary midterm bone forging student. His grades are still at the bottom of the class, and his family conditions are also average. This is completely different from Wu Yuang's situation. Seeing that Su Cheng did not answer, Han Feng continued to ask, Teacher Su, how is Chen Mo doing recently? Su Cheng glanced at the playground indifferently and responded casually, Chen Mo, average. Average. Han Feng asked back in confusion. He thought to himself, how could a genius who comprehended the sword have average grades? Hearing Han Feng's slightly aggravated and unbelieving tone, Su Cheng nodded. Yes, average, third from the bottom in the class. But just as he finished speaking, bang! Suddenly, a huge crashing sound far exceeded that of other students' tests. Chen Mo, perfect inner key. No. How is that possible? I must have seen it wrong. The slap in the face came too quickly. Su Cheng rubbed his eyes vigorously. How could Chen Mo be in the perfect inner key? You know, a few days ago, he was still in the middle stage of bone forging in the simulation test. A few days later, he broke through to the perfect inner key. Is Chen Mo a genius? No. Did he take a magic medicine? How did he do it? The tester cannot be wrong. Late stage of bone forging, perfect. Early stage of internal key, middle stage, late stage, perfect. This spans 6 small realms and 1 big realm. Su Cheng was shocked. At this time, not only Su Cheng was shocked by Chen Mo's test numbers, but even the students standing around him in the playground were attracted. Chen Mo, it's Chen Mo. How did he do it? Perfect inner key. Chen Mo immediately attracted a group of students around him and began to discuss privately. In the second year of high school, this is not something you can see everywhere. You should know that in the last simulation test, only a few people in the whole number 3 high school's second grade advanced to the Xiantian realm, and only the beginning of 10 people had perfect internal energy. With Chen Mo's perfect internal energy, he can be ranked in the top 20 in the grade. This is a genius. People who don't know Chen Mo try to remember his appearance. Maybe they can get close to him in the future on the road to immortal cultivation. Chen Mo ignored the discussions of the people around him, but stood quietly in front of the tester thinking, is the internal energy perfect? He felt that he still had some strength left when he threw that punch just now, and he still had his hidden artistic conception power that he hadn't used. There's still one chance. Should I take another test? Chen Mo was struggling in his heart. His own style of doing things is low-key, and he has always considered keeping artistic conception as a trump card. But this exam is the final exam of the second grade. According to previous practice, the top 20 students will receive some special rewards from the school. Do you want to try it? These thoughts flashed through Chen Mo's mind like lightning. Soon he made a decision and let it go. The way of martial arts is about fighting, and the way of immortals is about gambling. You can strike at the critical moment. Anyway, you have the golden finger, so you don't have to worry about not having new cards. After saying it, Chen Mo mobilized the true ki of 129,600 meridians in his body and quickly gathered them in his right fist. In an instant, the muscles of Chen Mo's right arm bulged instantly, as if it contained infinite power. This might is chilling and imposing. Not enough. Chen Mo shouted madly in his heart. Almost at the same time, he urged the ice and water storm state in his body to cover his fist. Suddenly, a strong momentum that almost forced everyone to retreat rose on the field. Pa! Chen Mo's energy made a thunderous roar and hit the test instrument in front of him directly. Boom! The numbers on the test instrument flashed wildly. Internal ki is perfect, innate. The test result instantly soared to the innate realm, and the internal formation of the instrument was running and analyzing quickly. Finally fixed. Chen Mo, innate realm, fake. Han Feng looked at the number on the screen in surprise and murmured, "Teacher Su, is this the third from the bottom that you mentioned? Happy New Year, the young author wishes you all a Happy New Year. In the new year, I wish all readers good health and everything goes as they wish." Chapter 25, Lao Zhang, dig him over. Wow! So amazing. Innate realm. This is the innate master. There are even people on the field asking who Chen Mo is. Why haven't they heard his name before? Su Cheng didn't seem to hear Han Feng's ridicule, just staring blankly at the result on the screen. Innate realm, fake. This means that the combat power has reached the innate realm, but the realm is still at the inner ki realm. The inner ki combat power is comparable to the innate, and the enemy is across a large realm. But this result has always been only in legends. He has been teaching at Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School for more than 20 years and has never encountered such a limit-breaking genius student. This is going to set a record for Jiangcheng No. 3 Middle School. Su Cheng was amazed. Is this really a student taught by Su Cheng? In addition, when Chen Mo punched at the end, the frost on his fist was the artistic conception. The inner ki realm comprehended the artistic conception, and the combat power was comparable to the innate, which was more powerful than many real innate realms. Thinking of this, Su Cheng's mind suddenly turned, and he silently looked at Song Yihan, who had already finished the test and stood quietly on the side. Song Yihan, a Feng Shui 2 spiritual root genius, practiced 108 body tempering techniques, and was born with martial arts. Who is better between the two of them? Well, it seems that Song Yihan is still better now. But it can't be said that Chen Mo is worse than Song Yihan. In terms of potential, he may be higher. At this time, the field had begun to be slightly chaotic. After Chen Mo's test results came out, a large group of students suddenly surrounded him, and began to introduce themselves and ask about the secret of how Chen Mo did it. Even several teachers from the next class wanted to approach Chen Mo. Seeing this scene, Su Cheng suddenly came to his senses. No, I have to protect the genius Chen Mo in our class. I must not let others take him away. Teacher Su Cheng muttered indignantly. He quickly threw his arms and squeezed into the encirclement, like a hen protecting her calves. What are you doing? What are you doing? All of you are gathered here. Do you still want to take the exam? You all want to get 0 points, right? Disperse, disperse. After a while, seeing that Chen Mo's head teacher had come out to drive him away, the students around him could only disperse helplessly. When everyone around dispersed, Su Cheng smiled brightly, and the corners of his mouth that couldn't be closed were raised, as if the smile was overflowing from his mouth. Finally, Su Cheng said with a smile, "Hello, Chen Mo, I am your head teacher Su Cheng." Chen Mo smiled and nodded and responded, "Well, hello, Teacher Su." To be honest, he had never seen Su Cheng like this. Shocked, happy, but a little cautious, serious, afraid that the treasure would be snatched away by others. "Hello, Chen Mo, I am your head teacher Su Cheng. You have been teaching for 2 years, don't I know that you are the head teacher? Are you hinting at your sovereignty as the head teacher? It's a bit cute, ha ha ha." Seeing the smile on Chen Mo's mouth, Su Cheng was also a little embarrassed. After all, he didn't devote too much energy to Chen Mo before. But in the end, he couldn't help his curiosity. "Chen Mo, how did you do it?" Hearing Su Cheng's question, Chen Mo scratched his head. "What should I say? Did I tell you that I have a system? Finally, Chen Mo found a reason helplessly. Teacher Su, I had an epiphany. Su Cheng looked at Chen Mo in surprise. Epiphany. This answer was somewhat unexpected to him, but it seemed reasonable. With Chen Mo's family conditions, only epiphany could explain it. So, he hurriedly said, Epiphany is good, epiphany is good. You know, only true geniuses like you have the opportunity to have an epiphany. After speaking, Su Cheng praised and cared about Chen Mo again. At the same time, he also hinted to Chen Mo in both explicit and implicit ways not to listen to the temptation of some teachers in other classes to transfer to other classes. In class 2, he would definitely do his best to help him. Finally, after Chen Mo's repeated assurances, Su Cheng left with peace of mind. The relationship between the two became much closer. The exams on the playground continued. However, apart from the several innate geniuses who caused a few discussions, there was no dark horse event like Chen Mo. In fact, Chen Mo understood Su Cheng's worries very well. After all, in the world of cultivation, the honor and salary of teachers are linked to students' grades. But for Chen Mo, it doesn't matter which class he is in. It's better to keep the familiar than to change the new. After all, his strength depends on the golden finger. However, just when Chen Mo was talking to Su Cheng, on the other side of the playground, a middle-aged man who looked a bit rough and mighty was whispering with a teacher beside him. He was the head teacher of Class 1, Qin Meng, a powerful cultivator who had reached the peak of key training. As the name suggests, he looks fierce, works fiercely, and has fierce cultivation. Qin Meng looked down at Chen Mo in the distance and said, Lao Zhang, he is Chen Mo, the Chen Mo who wrote Pinnacle Ascent. The white-faced man with a scholarly temperament, Lao Zhang nodded. Yes, that's him. Chen Meng said with some surprise, not bad. This kid can write one sword cuts off termites, one sword cuts off enemies, surging the universe to ask King Feng, cut off all the injustices in the world. I like it very much. After that, he sighed again. It seems that Class 2 is going to produce a dragon. Zhang Wu nodded, just smiled and said nothing. After Tan Meng finished speaking, he rolled his eyelids and looked at Lao Zhang's silence. He immediately said anxiously, no, this kind of student should come to our Class 1. No matter whether it is a resource teacher in our Class 1, we are far better than that surnamed Su. If a student like Chen Mo is left there, it would be like cutting a dragon robe into pants. Isn't it a waste? Lao Zhang, I don't care what method you think of, dig him over. Tan Meng was indignant and kept talking to Zhang Wu. How could a genius like Chen Mo go to Class 2? That guy Su Cheng has always been dissatisfied with our class. When I recruit Chen Mo, let's see how he can still stand in front of me. Not to mention that the head teacher of Class 1, Qin Meng, is planning to target Chen Mo. The other students who had finished the test on the playground also gathered in 2s and 3s to discuss. The smart ones have already thought about whether the person who wrote the Pinnacle Ascent article in the school forum yesterday was this Chen Mo. For a time, Chen Mo's name as a genius quickly spread in number 3 middle school. At this time, Wu Yong put his arm around Chen Mo's shoulders and joked, okay, brother Mo. I wanted to break through the bone forging today to give you a surprise. How about you, just give me a thunderbolt. Brother, I have to hold on to your thigh tightly, and I will follow you completely in the future. Chen Mo shook his head, slapped Wu Yong's hand on his shoulder, and said unhappily, what are you talking about, thighs and calves? If you want to follow me, break through the bone forging perfection first, and then talk about the promotion of internal energy. No, brother Mo. Please spare me. I have just barely entered the bone forging stage, and I have to break through the internal energy. Even if I eat the pills as candy beans, it will not be that fast. After hearing what Chen Mo said, Wu Yong pretended to beg for mercy. While the two were chatting, Wu Yong rolled his eyes, glanced at the corner not far behind him, and whispered, Chen Mo, look at the bangs over there, and that face, wow. It's like he has eaten a dead fly. After saying that, he couldn't help laughing. Now that Chen Mo's combat power has broken through the Daoxintian realm, he no longer has to worry about that bastard selling broken shoes causing trouble. Chen Mo glanced coldly into the distance. Their work is not over yet. Happy New Year, the little author wishes everyone a Happy New Year, and wishes all readers happy every day and all their wishes come true. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.